I've got one more for you, mate, and that's around Shannon Geary. So, inspirational sort of stuff that we saw last week, and I know was highlighted during the week. I thought looked a really good job with that, pumping up exactly what Shannon was able to do and take that rotation for you guys to help you get through the game.
Yep.
How's he going? We know we've sort of mentioned it on air, and I'm happy to give him a few shots. He's getting towards the end of his footy career.
Yeah.
But how's he going around the group now?
Yeah, good. I think he's I asked him before how his hamstring actually was, and he said it's not too bad. He said it's just. His words were, it's a weird feeling. So I don't know exactly the grade of how bad it is, but obviously not playing today, and I'm not sure if we are lucky enough to win today, what will be the go. But yeah, I don't know what he's doing next year. He said last year he wasn't playing, and then turned up, and now he was. And
it's been about 3 years he said that, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly right. And because he's coaching the junior club, he obviously is still heavily involved, and he's still definitely good enough to be playing senior footy, so it's obviously up to him and his body. So whether he sticks around or whether he doesn't, obviously what he's done for the club in the last however long he's played here is monumental. So
I don't want to give too much of that away, but he was sort of swapping there across halfback with Kloss a little bit, hasn't he, over the last over recent sort of times? There seems to be a bit of a rotation through there. Is that something you look at going forward today? Is there someone comes in that plays that role that Shannon's been playing?
Yeah, I think Caleb Sheen and Bendigo+Semi will be the two that rotate through that halfback, mid-rotation.
Yep.
But yeah, it's sort of, we've got probably 6 or 7 players that will go through those mids, but those two are probably the main two that will roll through the backs, and it's obviously a very hard position to play on ball and then rotate back. Exactly. Not many that could do it, but it's hard shoes to fill, obviously, Shan. So hopefully a few of the younger boys that are coming up today, and Dolly and Huey and the likes of those boys, whoever's playing down back, can fill them.
Now, James, one last one before I do let you go. Tim Hosking missed the last game of the year, but he came back in for the finals, and he did a magnificent job last week, probably beat Kai Daniels around the ground. Sandhurst ruck stocks, we know they have been a little bit depleted at times. So is that somewhere that you guys really do look that this is a massive advantage, having a guy like Tim Hosking in the side? Yeah, absolutely. I think he was a bit unlucky to not have played interleague, only having played 4 games instead of the 5. Obviously, Braden being injured, but he's the difference that he made between, I don't think he played against Gisborne the first week, but the difference he made between that week and last week was huge. I think he beat him by 53 in the hit outs in the middle, and that's what can change a game. It can give your mids first use, and obviously that's what he was doing predominantly in that second half as well. We sort of dominated that third quarter, and then coming into the last, when it was stoppage after stoppage, he kept providing us with the ball and being able to stop Golden Square's run, which was coming. But yeah, obviously we lasted long enough to get the win. So he's a big piece, and obviously not having Hamish Hosking's a pretty big loss from last year's finals to this year. Connor Sexton's pretty much the same as Hosker, a young fella who's got plenty of talent, but I think that's where we'll be looking to expose them to start the game, and then it's a matter of winning the midfield battle to then kicking more goals in by the end of the day. Now, your role today, do you have some sort of role? Are you on the bench, or are you purely here as a spectator? I'll be helping with the interchanges, so we have an iPad that runs like how long people have been on the ground, etc. So I'll just jump on that and help Luke Monaghan rotate the boys through pretty fairly, and see if we can get the win. James, we better let you go. Better let you get down there and make sure the iPad's all charged up and ready to go. Thank you very much for joining us here on Footy Fresh, and hopefully we'll be back to see you out there early next season. No worries. Thanks, gentlemen. That was James Shishka from the Strathfieldsaye Storm, and probably the one big thing, Jace, that's come out of that is 47 goals in 12 games. Ever since he went out, it's been really hard for them to find a second option inside forward 50, and I just feel like Malik Gordon's had a lot of pressure put on him in that forward line, so it's a big loss. Yeah, it is a big loss, mate, but as James sort of said, there's probably a bit by committee that they've actually tried to find those goals, so the mids have done a little bit more work forward, and that's interesting too with that. I mentioned that swap with Shannon Geary and Bendigo+Semi sort of swapping across halfback. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them swap a little bit more forward to try and Shannon's not going to do that. Shannon's not playing at all, but that sort of rotation may go forward a little bit more to probably try and find an avenue to the goals. So of course there was an earlier start, a delayed start here at the QL. Of course, the under-16s grand final was played this morning here at the QL. It was Sandhurst who defeated the Strathfieldsaye Storm in that one. So a big preview in the under-16s this morning as to that game. In the Loddon Valley, it is grand final day as well, Jace. In the under-18s this morning, East Loddon, they defeated Morong 6-5-41 to Morong 4-5-29. And in the reserves, Pyramid Hill got a 4-point victory over Morong 5-9-39 to Morong 5-5-35. Is that a similar scoreline to what you're going to be expecting in the senior grand final out there this afternoon? And give us a tip to who you think will win that one.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned on air a few times, I'm probably a bit more familiar with the Morong lineup than I am the Pyramid Hill lineup, and just because of the success that Morong's had in recent times. And I know Linton Jacobs has done a really good job out there at Morong over the last couple of years in particular. So I think I can't see it being a blowout. I think it'll be pretty tight. I think Morong's had that experience on grand final day before, and I think it'll be pretty tight. And I know it's been a long time reading the advertiser, a long time since Pyramid Hill have actually had some success in the Loddon Valley Footy League. So I think tight. First game, you'd probably have to lean towards Pyramid Hill, but Morong in a grand final, I think anything can happen. It'll be interesting to see the scores as we go.
And you got a tip for that one at all, Don Moran?
Well, it's a finals footy, and even looking at the conditions here today, it's a little bit blowy. And I think that I'm with Jason. That you sort of get to that point where you've got two pretty even teams that are going to go at it. And I think that who takes the ascendancy in that first quarter, that maybe winning the toss on that day could be a big advantage. And if you can hit the scoreboard early and get that pressure on, I really think that I think it could go either way.
If there's one ground, if there's one ground that I would not want to be playing on in blustery conditions, it's Midiamo.
You mentioned that.
That is a paddock.
Yes.
It is in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing around to block any type of wind on that ground. So I'm expecting a low-scoring affair out there. And I reckon if the game stays low-scoring and close, I reckon Morong have got the experience. They've won the 3 grand finals in a row now if they win this afternoon. So I'm leaning more towards Morong in this game as well. And Pyramid Hill, the last 2 times they've won the qualifying final and then gone straight to the grand final, they have been beaten in a grand final as well. So not good reading for them, but they'll be out to break one of the biggest droughts in country football. Joining us here this afternoon as well is John Hunter. Good afternoon to you, Johnny. I believe you got some scores from what's happening in the netball courts today.
I have, Cam. I've been for a little bit of a walk around. And interestingly, before we start that, I'm no weatherman, but isn't it well, interesting is the word, that every week we've had the same conditions as it's blustery and windy. I did have a look at the Sandhurst boys. They were running around. There seems to be more out there than name, Cam, so I'm not sure whether there's a little bit of ducks and drakes going on with the Dragons. But, yes, in the netball...
Did you count them all, did you?
Yeah, well, there was more than the 22. So, in the netball, in the under-17s, the Golden Square 56 defeated Storm 37. So, they move on to play Sandhurst next week in the grand final. In B Reserve, Sandhurst 51 defeated the Storm 32. So, they'll go on to play Gisborne next week. And in the B grade, Gisborne 57 defeated Kangaroo Flat 38. So, in the B grade, the netballers will go on to play Sandhurst next week. So, Sandhurst and Gisborne featuring very predominantly in this final series.
About 12 minutes away from the bounce of the ball here in this one, and looking out on the field, Strathfieldsaye Storm are out there warming up, and we have yet to see Sandhurst out on the ground. And there was just something I took notice of last week between Gisborne and Sandhurst, is Sandhurst left it very late to come out on the ground. Gisborne were out there for about 7 or 8 minutes prior to Sandhurst warming out on the ground. And I reckon that made a huge impact because the first 5 minutes of that game was absolutely dominated by Gisborne. I'm just wondering, as a coach, if that maybe brings something into it, or am I reading into it a little bit here, Jace?
It depends on the group, to be honest, Cam. It's I've had groups where you want them out on the ground pretty early to get that exposure to the ground and get them away from the rooms. They're actually better out on the ground in the open and can sense it. But other groups, and I remember the last time I coached, obviously, was here on a grand final day and it's under 18 footy, but we kept them in the rooms, deliberately tried to keep them in the rooms because they were trying to get out too fast and tried to get on the ground too early. So there's a little bit of that nervous energy that can come from groups. I think you've just got to weigh up what's best for your group. Clearly it didn't work last time, so I would have thought we might have seen a change today, and they might have come out a little bit earlier.
Just looking at it, the Storm have been out, they've already done their lap around the square as you normally do. They've burst into their kicking lanes inside forward 50. A few of the forwards having some set shots for goal as well, so Zach Charles lining him up down there. He's going to play a big role in this forward line for the Storm this afternoon. But it is an interesting point that I do bring up because Sandhurst have still yet to emerge from the rooms, and it's probably been a good 10 minutes since that reserves game had completed, so leaving it to the last minute. So maybe it is a deliberate ploy.
Well, maybe. But I'd like to ask, because we've got 2 coaches in here. One, by the way, I've heard Nice Spies tell me met a Newstead official during the week and had coffee with, so I don't know what that means, but certainly wasn't Jason. But nice little segue over to Don. And you can answer this too, Jason, as well. There's that bus that goes through the middle of Castlemaine. What do you think about Sandhurst? I thought about them during the week because they've been the best side, I think, all year, arguably. Do you think that week's rest had an influence on the outcome last week? And I'll go to both of you with that question. You first, Don.
Yeah, for sure. You want to play as much, like Jason and I will probably agree to this, is that if you've got a list that's a little bit older, the rest is really good because you're not worried about experience. You're not worried about, you mentioned earlier about being overawed and too much arousal before you go in there. You've got a calmer group and some experience in there. So sometimes, that rest. But if you've got a young stallion in the paddock, all I want to do is work. So, I really think sometimes that you want to just keep playing. I know you have those risks of injuries and stuff, but you really want to keep going and keep playing because you cannot replicate match day stuff and finals football. So by having a week off, I really do think that they were a little bit flat and they're on their heels against Gizzy. But in saying that, Gizzy's pressure was amazing, which stopped their ability to release the ball outside, and their running power just wasn't there.
Yeah, and I'm the same as Don. I think continuity is big at this time of year, and I know I've mentioned it a few times on air as well. And I through the whole season, actually, continuity is a big thing. Once you get on a roll, if you've got that continuity in your game and just continuous use to body crashing, you don't do that at training a heck of a lot now. So there's not a lot of contact sort of stuff at training. You can't simulate that pressure that's going to be applied by an opposition that you can in a game. So I think it would have had an impact. Be interested to see if they turn it around and try and hunt a little bit more today, Sandhurst, if they've learnt any lessons from the way that Gisborne actually played that final last week and hunted them, whether they can turn it around and actually hunt the opposition early.
And I suppose a part of being the final five too, that's the same challenges, I guess, for Gisborne this week. One could say next week they might win and you say, well, the rest did them well because they get rid of their niggles, but if they get beaten, it's on the other side of the foot.
Yeah, I reckon it's just a little bit different though. If you get that one to go through, that second one you go through, you get a huge opportunity to come and have a watch. And you can watch as much tape as you want, and we all know what the vision's like, but there isn't anything like being here live and watching that team. So I really think that, moving through to the grand final from the second semi is probably the way to go. And I think history says that, most teams will win moving through than they lose.
Developing story here at the QEO. I look down in front of us, Jason Stevens, and I see Bryce Curnow. He is not kitted up. He's not out there. Connor Sexton, he is walking up the grandstand as we speak with what looks like a big stats board or something like that. So going on that, I'm going to say Bryce Curnow and Connor Sexton aren't playing, and it looks like Wilson Butler for the Storm, for Sandhurst, the reserves ruckman. One senior game to his name, is going to get a big job to play today without Curnow and Sexton.
Well, I'm pretty certain that Connor's definitely not playing because I saw him just down here grabbing a coffee.
Yeah, no, he
like
just
before.
walked upstairs with a big
so
ball.
he's definitely out. So that's a huge impact at the start of the contest. So look, that brings that midfield battle back down to square, doesn't it? So that's it would give Strathfieldsaye the advantage in the ruck contest. I don't know William Butler as a player, but that would give Strath the advantage in the ruck, which probably brings their mids up the ladder a little bit versus that strength of the Sandhurst side.
And Bryce is out there, but he's not kitted up. He's in the running shorts, the shoes. He's got a hat on. Looks like he's out there barking some instructions, but he won't be playing this afternoon. So some big changes. Now, does that sway any of your tips today, this afternoon, in this game, Don Moran? I was liking Strathfieldsaye during the week, and I'm still thinking that Strathfieldsaye now, with these outs, geez, I reckon Tim Hosking's going to have a big day getting the hand into these midfielders for Strathfieldsaye's Storm. We look at Clossy in the middle. We look at what Ratcliffe will do in the middle there. And I'm really excited to see what does happen because it's a huge advantage having that big ruckman in the side. And Sandhurst ball use inside 450 has been pretty ordinary over the last 3 weeks. And if they're not getting first look at it, it's going to be hard for them to tidy it up if they're playing behind a little bit in the midfield for me. So I'm leaning towards Strathfieldsaye in this game, but interested to take your thoughts on how this game will play out, Don Moran.
Well, I think with the conditions, we've had windy conditions every game so far. I actually would nearly throw a blanket over them. But now that you've just dropped those names, no Curnow playing, no ruckman as well. And I think that the key in the past few weeks is that winning that ball off the centre and around the ground, and we saw the damage that Braden Blake has done. But I would say he's the #1 ruckman in the competition. But after listening to James, he Shishka on air, he was sort of starting to lead a little bit towards Tim Hosking. So with Tim Hosking gets his first hand on the footy all day, I think that was where Sandhurst lacked against Gisborne, was that ability to be be able to win that first use. Both sides have got great midfielders, but now we look like Sandhurst with Tardrew and alike, they'll be probably going off Tim's hand rather than their ruck. So we don't know much about Butler-Wilson, wasn't it, Jason? We're trying to work it out. He's played one game apparently.
He has played one. I think he's played one over his career. So
one senior game, which was earlier this year as well.
I'm not familiar with him even coming through the Sandhurst sort of junior system either, so I'm not...
Because they use Talinelli, as a ruckman as well. So
Talinelli wasn't named on the Thursday night sheet either, but he's included in the side as well. So he's definitely out there. So if you're playing along at home, the teams that were named, out goes Connor Sexton, out goes Bryce Curnow, in comes Wilson Butler and Talinelli. So some big changes for Sandhurst. You're looking at better players for Sandhurst this afternoon as well as Jason Stevens. So who do you think needs to have a massive game for them to get over the line?
Yeah, well, I'll just look down the list now, and those two changes that we've mentioned, we've already highlighted. I think the bloke that needs to have the biggest game for them to get over the line here is Kobe Maxted. So I think there's every chance that Kobe Maxted comes up and actually plays around the ground a little bit more today, in particular in these conditions. And we know he can go in and actually pinch hit as well in the ruck. I've seen him do that from this commentary box previous. I've seen him do it firsthand at junior footy as well. So I would be on Kobe Maxted. I think he's probably the one that I'm watching. And outside of him, obviously... the forwards, the dangerous forwards that Sandhurst do have, I think they need to get on their bike early and get up around the ground a little bit in these windy conditions. And if we see that happening, I still favour them in this contest. Probably
against everything that has gone on early in these games, Johnny, but the toss of the coin has been won. Lockie Tardew from Sandhurst has won it, and they're shooting towards the Barnard Street end of the ground, which is an interesting decision. It doesn't look like the wind's favouring one end too much today as what it has in previous weeks, but I would have thought the city end might have been the way I would have picked, but Lockie Tardew, and they're shooting to the left.
Yeah, that is interesting. And Lockie Tardrew, we didn't mention it, but he breathed a sigh of relief, didn't he, during the week? And fortunately, he's playing, I think, overall. I know there was a nasty injury caused at Gisborne, but to have a player of that calibre, Lou, not playing in a preliminary final in... I mean, you can argue whether it was in play, out of play or whatever, but the bottom line is he is playing.
I think we all feel sorry for Chloe from Gisborne. That's undoubtable. That's we feel for him. He's only a young player, sort of progressing his way through, and was playing some really good footy as well. We feel for him for the injury, but selfishly, I'm pretty happy that Tardrew's actually here and running around today. I'd like to see him out in the middle in a prelim final on the QEO.
Yeah, it might have been a bigger margin if he hadn't played against Gizzy, because he was instrumental in that day. So leads from the front, really good and powerful runner. His ball use is amazing. If you have a look at his stats through when they publish him in the paper, his efficiency is like 85%. He doesn't waste a footy, and he manages to bring players in. So yeah, he's a great inclusion today, because it could have been the other way. So I'm really keen to see the mids go at one another today, because I think the game will be won in through the midfield and the power runners, because it is a windy. Cam, I think it is blowing towards Barnard Street. Just having a look at the trees across the ground near the netball
Feels like
course.
It's blowing straight into our special effects mic as well out there. But interesting, it is definitely going that way looking at those trees. So maybe Lockie Tardew out there has assessed the conditions. But predominantly across the final series, the scoring end has been down this Bendigo City end. But Don Moran, who wins and why?
Look, I just think that the ruck stakes are something that's, every footy club's looking for a decent ruckman, and right now today with losing Sexton today, I think it would have been a really good battle with Tim Hosking and him, and the battle will be won in the centre of the ground, and I think right now I'll be sort of leaning towards Strath. By not a lot of a margin, to be honest, because I think both teams struggle to score and kick goals.
My turn. I'm going to lean towards Sandhurst. So seen them a few times this year. I think there's a seed 1 and a seed 1A or 1B if we go that way, and I think it's Gisborne through, and I think Sandhurst is the next team that joins them.
Well, it's a cutthroat preliminary final here. For what it's worth, I'm going for Sandhurst in a close one this afternoon. It is the Storm taking on Sandhurst. It's curtains for the loser, and the winner will go on next week to meet Gisborne in the grand final. Fantastic conditions for football here, where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Let's get the preliminary final underway. Here's Cameron Power.
Yes, looking forward to a massive game here at the QEO. Umpire holds the ball in the air. Wilson Butler goes straight into the ruck for Sandhurst. A massive job for him. He's up against Tim Hosking, and the ball up to get the prelim final underway. Butler wins the first hit down, so advantage to him. It spills out wide for the Storm. Matt Harvey collects it. He's pounced upon straight away. Big pack of players will dive on top of this one. Good conditions for footy out there, but I'm expecting to see a lot of stoppages like this in this opening quarter.
True centre wing broadcast side. 20 seconds into this preliminary final. Hosking versus the young man coming in this afternoon in Butler, and we've got a stoppage. It'll be a secondary ball up, so haven't moved at all from the centre wing. Broadcast side, Butler did well, gets the tap there for Sandhurst, but it'll be now Chambers for the Storm. A hurry kick to half forward, hitting the pack hard there was Gordon, and it might be a free kick. It will go the way of the Dragons. Across half back, it's Carraher.
Yeah, Gordon caught him high. Carraher gets up quickly, handballs off to Noel Walsh. Walsh sends it to the poolside wing. Finds it out wide into the hands of Jake McLean for the Dragons. So McLean's got it, centre wing position. We'll send it down the line, far side of the ground. Big pack of players fly, it carries over the back of those. The breeze is definitely advantage the Barnard Street end of the ground, and it goes out of bounds for a boundary throw in 60 metres out from goal.
It's interesting, Tardru's actually started forward here for Sandhurst as well. He wasn't in that centre bounce, and he has started predominantly forward.
Feels like a little bit of a lacklustre start here for a preliminary final, as Hosking will go up against Butler of the Dragons. They're across half forward in attack. It's the Storm. In fact, it's the Dragons, a hurry kick. It'll go inside forward 50, a bouncing footy. And it, in fact, is one minor score. Just snuck in for the first one of the afternoon. Sandhurst one behind Storm, yet to score, 1.5 gone. Opening term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Cooper Jones will do the kick-in duties for the Storm. Plays on, goes down the poolside wing. Charles was down there, the intended target, carried to the back of the pack. Carraher was collected in the tackle by Hosking. Bit of a height difference between those two. Bit of a disadvantage for Carraher if you're being tackled by Tim Hosking, I reckon, Jace.
A little bit of a disadvantage. He's up to his hip there, Cam. So it's a bit of a disadvantage.
Ball up on the far wing, knocked down by Butler. Coughlin tried to go through, paddled out the handball to Wilkinson, but he might have illegally disposed of the footy. Or no, he's getting the free kick himself actually. So free kick will go Wilkinson for Sandhurst. Coughlin. Wilson actually got out of the way. So Coughlin will quickly play on. He'll handball off. Get it over the top. Wilkinson will then send it inside forward 50. Almost Tarju. Comes off hands and it'll go over the boundary line for a boundary throw in. Mitchell Hallinan is hard on his heels for a boundary throw in. Right hand side forward pocket.
It's interesting, yeah, Jason noticed that Tardru's gone forward, so key mid playing forward, and for Strath, Riley Wilson started in at full forward, so two key mids lined up in both forward lines.
Dragons deep in attack. Barnard Street end, it's a shallow throw in. The umpire might call it back, he'll have to. It got caught up in that wind that we're talking about, which unusual going to the Barnard Street end as opposed to the City end, which we've seen all final series. 20 around from goal. Dragons in attack. Umpire will throw it in. Up they'll go in the ruck. Maxted doing the ruck work, but didn't win it on that occasion there for the Dragons. The hurry kick out beyond 50 for the Storm. Hard up against the boundary line. Dragons will see it over. And 50 from goal that they're attacking. It'll be a ball in. One behind Sandhurst. The Storm yet to score. 3.5 gone. Opening term. Local footy lives.
It's actually a free kick, John. Free kick to Strath.
So it'll be a free kick on the far side. Brought back into play for the Storm. They'll send it down the poolside wing, but it's an intercept mark for Sandhurst. Wilkinson takes it, quickly chip ball, finds its way to Wright. Lockie Wright's got it. He can then steady. He'll send it inside forward 50. Kick was a little bit shallow, but it carried over the back in the end, and Fergus Green comes out and takes the mark on his chest. And Green will go back and line up for the first goal of the prelim final. He's about 20 in from the boundary, but he'll have to kick it 40 metres at least.
Well, we know he's a good set shot, but so far, we're 4 minutes in, and we've seen a lot of footy on that pool side in front of the club rooms on the pool side of the ground. So be interesting to see, Jason, you're man of goal kicking expertise here. He's going to go right goal post, would you think?
So when he comes, Fergus Green for the first goal. He goes goalwards. It's not quite going to make the distance. Maxted flies. Storm will be trying to knock it down. It spills forward to Jimmy Coughlin. Coughlin snaps around the body for the first goal of the day for Sandhurst. An unlikely goal scorer, but it's James Coughlin that gets down there. The Storm didn't kill the ball, and the first goal of the day goes to the way of the Dragons. They're 1-1-7 The Storm are yet to score early stages of this one. Great start, Sandhurst. Score sponsor, Rural Outdoors, Castlemaine.
Sorry, I couldn't answer Don there. I thought the goal was going to go through. It's aim at the middle, I think, today is probably my answer.
Yep, good answer.
Interesting from my take early, just their weight and numbers on the Sandhurst end of the ground. So Strath's got all of their players actually down in that defensive 50 at the moment. It's going to be hard to transition the ball out.
The outer side. Still contested footy. Hosking will pick it up now for the Storm. I'll look to get it inside forward 50 with a long kick by Clossy. Clossy go looking for Harvey, but it might be out of bounds. Well, just bounces and it'll be a ball in. 50 in from goal, but the Storm are attacking. 1 goal, 1-7 to Sandhurst. Storm yet to score. 5.5 gone opening turn.
Well, thrown in, 55 out from goal. Knocked down. Good battle so far. Spills out to Riley Wilson. Wilson handballs inside forward 50 to Gill. Gill tried to sidestep his way through. Was caught in the tackle. Coughlin went through. He then shoveled out the handball wide. Dragons will go backwards. Ireland has taken in a strong tackle by Malik Gordon. He's been hard at the footy early. Malik Gordon, ball up. 25 metres out from goal. Inside forward 50 are the Strathfieldsaye Storm. Their first real look at it. Inside 50, Jason.
Lockie Gill's dangerous here too. He gets on the move.
So Gordon goes up in the ruck, he knocks it down, then Gordon, he roves his own ball, he goes goalwards, there's Malik Gordon, and with a little check side kick, he's kicked Strathfieldsaye's first. So Gordon on the board early, the Storm 1 straight 6, the Dragons 1-1-7. We played 7 minutes here in the prelim final. It's been an entertaining battle early. Score sponsor, Bendigo City Framers. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Well, I thought Lockie Gill was the dangerous one at the back of the pack, but it wasn't him that was at the back of the pack. It was actually a little bit forward of the pack, and Malik Gordon was the one that came through with the goal.
And it looks like that kick might have upset the ankle there by the look of that.
Wow, he's hobbling to the bench and he doesn't look in a good way. That is a huge blow for Strathfieldsaye if Malik Gordon is unable to play on. Keep an eye on that one, Jace, but he has got to the bench and he's gone straight to ground, and that's not a cramp at this stage of the game, I wouldn't imagine. His head in the ground doesn't look good. Storm will then win the clearance back out of the middle. It spills forward. Darcy Mills back into the side for Sandhurst. Handballs to Eureka. Eureka to Ireland. They'll come middle to McLean. McLean will then send it further forward. I think a free kick's been called down the field, so it'll go to Jake McLean for Sandhurst.
Yeah, I like the way they didn't play advantage on that. There was no advantage on that kick for Sandhurst, so it's great that it's come back. I know it slows them up, but it's probably a better advantage that the kick to come back.
Malik Gordon still hasn't made it to the bench as of yet, Jace, so keep a real eye on that one. Short pass goes to Eureka for Sandhurst. Dayton Eureka was the captain of the Pioneers this year. He then fires the kick out wide. It's picked up at handball back. He got it back though, did Eureka. Then he just sends it high in the Fergus Green direction. Comes charging out, bounced off his head. Maxted was clean. He then snaps around his body inside forward 50. Bouncing ball, Tarju and Hallinan. Tarju shrugged off the tackle. Then he shrugged off the second tackle. Handball came forward to Lockie Wright, who'll be taken straight away. And we'll have a ball up right hand forward pocket here at the QEO. Bendigo City end of the ground.
I don't think we see Malik Gordon again today, Cam. That's it looks like it's pretty significant, that ankle injury.
Yeah, it doesn't look good at all. And as soon as he got to the bench, he absolutely slammed the ground as well. So that's a huge blow for the way Strathfieldsaye will structure up this afternoon. And you just worry where they're going to get their goals from in this game. It was touched on pre-game by you, Don Moran, but that's a massive blow.
Yeah, massive blow. And as you say that, we've got a free kick to Sandhurst. Is it Lockie Wright or is it...
It's Kobe Maxted who's got the free kick. He's right in front of the poolside change rooms on the right wing. On the right forward pocket, he's 40 out, and it'll take a good kick from here. He's a good kick, as Max said. He goes goalwards, goes right across the face. In fact, he has missed it by about 15 metres to the further side, out of bounds on the full. It'll be Cooper Jones, who's in the long sleeve this afternoon for the Storm to bring the ball back into play.
I'm not sure how he missed it on that side with the wind blowing across. That's missed by a fair way.
So Jones's kick is, well, that's an absolute shocker as well. He's kicked it straight out of bounds on the full. So Jake McLean will bring it back in for Sandhurst. Error-ridden game early. McLean wheels high for the hot spot. Maxted wants to fly, just carried over the back, almost fell to Tarju. Eureka was there. Handball backwards to Ireland. Ireland with a short pass, knocked away for the Storm there. Flying through was Charles Dole, one of the late inclusions. And it looks like a free kick for a high tackle. No, umpire across his arm says I'll ball it up inside forward 50.
So we're inside forward 50 now for the Dragons. They're doing all the attacking in this preliminary final. Crowd call for a free kick, and it's going to go the way of the Storm, in fact. So good strong tackling in the back half. Just need to launch something here. The footy was with James. James will go beyond 50. Poor kick, kicks it out of bounds on the full. So they don't need this Storm. Dragons, they'll hit the scoreboard sooner or later, one would think, as it's a long ball inside forward 50. They set themselves. Ernst with a big punch. He goes towards the boundary line. Riley Wilson picks it up. Handball inside. Hurried little kick there by Sheehan. And it's a poor kick and it's a turnover. And on the end of one now is Noah Walsh, and they'll go forward again.
Yeah,
the Dragons.
Walsh went with a short pass inside forward 50, which missed right, but they're able to pick it up. Gave it off to Hood. Hood's pass is good inside forward 50, and a mark on the chest of Kobe Maxted, who's 40 metres out directly in front. Pencil this one in the book. He won't miss.
It's looking dangerous early, isn't he? I don't want to just pump him up because I mentioned him as the game breaker earlier, but he does look like the guy that could break it open for Sandhurst.
Well, Kobe Maxted, who's 40 metres out directly in front for goal. Kicking to the Barnard Street end of the ground. He'll come in, starts his approach. Maxted on the right, goes goalwards, it starts left, it stays left, and that's two of his kicks that have floated to the left now, and they miss a chance early. It is 1-2-8 Sandhurst, 1 straight 6. The Storm, 11 and a half minutes gone. Opening quarter score sponsor, Parsons Towings in Castlemaine.
All set shots have favoured the old South Bendigo room side, and it's interesting, the ball is on the pool side, but then when they shoot for goal, it seems to be finishing across the face of goal.
Ernst will clear it out. They'll send it up the wing. Maxted's on the end of it though. He'll then chip it short. He's everywhere at the moment. Short pass to Walsh. Walsh can go inside forward 50, but he just slows things up, waiting for an option. He'll send it out into the hard leading ball. It's a big fly from Green. Couldn't take it. Stormer got the numbers at the ground. Shannon Murphy. Handballs to Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe is tackled front on. Strong tackling by Zach Palpert. And we'll have a ball up in the left-hand forward pocket. Those rooms that no longer exist, according to Johnny Hunter, we only realised a couple of weeks ago they were no longer there, even though they got demolished, what, at least a year and a half now.
I think last October.
So inside, throw up, goes back out of bounds for a boundary throw in.
We're still looking for the windsock as well, aren't we? So we've lost a club rooms and a windsock at QEO.
So it's all happening here at the QEO, but it's a good game of footy early. Good contest. It'll be thrown in inside forward 50. Knocked down. Maxted's gone in the ruck against Hoxting. Joel Wharton gets it. Handball's out to Hood. Hood's kick was smothered by Blandford. It spills out for Sandhurst though. Gave it off Connick to Ireland. Ireland then gets it over the top to Free. Free will snap goalwards around the right. Shallow kick. Intercept mark. Cooper-Jones for the Strathfieldsaye Storm.
Strath need a little bit of run out of here because Sandhurst is absolutely strangling them with their press. So good solid start for Sandhurst and their press working really well.
Jones comes down, grandstand side wing. Big fly from Zach Charles, couldn't take it. They work it out though, the Storm, to Murphy, but he's got to beat a couple. He stepped one tackle, then he ran into Noah Walsh. Umpire crosses his arms and says we'll ball it up 60 out from goal. But it is looking good early for Sandhurst. A lot of the ball inside forward 50. They haven't been able to convert it to the scoreboard as of yet.
Well, it's scoreboard pressure that matters in big finals. So let's see what they can do here. It is pushed forward by Smith. Smith of the Dragons inside forward 50, sharing it around inside. Now it ends up with Paul Pratt on the end of a handball. He'll go into the pocket. The ball spills for Blandford of the Storm. Blandford will send it beyond 50, and another one goes out of bounds on the full. We're just having a run of them, aren't we?
We are. It's good publicity for South Bendigo and Kangaroo Flat over there at the hospitality tents. We're getting plenty of action over in that side of the ground.
Getting a little sponsorship deal in there, Jason. Good to see.
Bit of a pump up for two teams not in the final.
So it's now come back to the middle. It'll be all with the Dragons. They're just trying to set up. It goes to half forward. Ureta dropped a mark he should have taken. Now they'll rebound off half-back Storm. 1 for 2 high. And let's see, off half-back through Riley Wilson, they can launch an attack.
So Riley Wilson will then go poolside wing. Kick just was not great. It really didn't give Ben Lester any chance at all. Turnover Sandhurst. Palprat, he'll long ball it from outside forward 50. Goes looking for Green. It bounces in front of him and through for a minor score. But they're really struggling with these kicks out of defence. Maybe that Breezers are playing a much bigger impact than what we were expecting, Jace.
Yeah, not just that. Don called it before too. Every shot's missed to the left-hand side of the goals facing that way. So the old South Bendigo clubroom side of the ground, every shot's missed that side. So there's obviously a bit swirly out there. Conditions probably pretty difficult for the players.
Cooper-Jones will play on from fullback. Runs a long way. Then he'll handball it forward over the top to Blandford. Long outside 50, the ball will go. Good strong contested mark.
Butler.
It's Butler. Wilson Butler now. send it back inside forward 50. He's got a little bit of an awkward picking style on him as well, and that might go out of bounds on the full, and it does. And, well, I might say to them, just keep it away from the boundary line because it keeps going out for penalty free kicks.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of football on this side of the ground, which is understandable because that's where Strath would like to see that ball sitting in that pocket, and their defence is holding strong and tight at this point.
So it'll be Caleb Ernst to bring the ball back into play for Strath. This sends it high. It sits up a little bit in the breeze as it floats about 10 metres short of probably where it was intended to go. Sent inside forward 50 for the Dragons. It'll go straight down the throat of Blanford. Blanford quickly wheels the kick out to Gill. Gill's got Shannon Murphy on a short pass if he wants him. He decides to go a little bit longer, but the kick has to be good. It'll go down in the direction of Strathfieldsaye's Jai Chambers, but it's knocked away from him at the last second there by the Sandhurst defence, and we'll get a throw in right in front of the Strathfieldsaye coaches bench. They're watching on. They trail this game by 3 points, 15 minutes gone, opening quarter, and there's an off-the-ball free kick, John.
There is, as umpire Goodrich.
It's going to Strath.
It was against Jai Chambers, actually hit Tananelli high behind the plate.
He's been on the ball, Dean Goodrich, the last couple of games. They've had a good series so far, the umpires.
So going to hand out to Lockie Hood by the looks now.
Advantage down the ground, I think he's played.
So Lockie Hood now. Handballs, Jake McLean running side by side.
Didn't cross over the mark.
So let's reset now. Lockie Hood. He's on the wing. Plays on. It'll go shallow inside forward 50 now. Dragons attack, but it's a mark taken by Blanford. He's in his defensive zone for the Storm. Just trying to settle things down. No scoreboard pressure yet, really, by the Dragons. They've had it inside forward 50. One would think almost 95% of the time, if not more. Short pass forward to Riley Wilson. Wilson on the defensive arc. 10 metres in from the boundary line. In the shadows of the ghost of the South Bendigo social rooms. I love saying it, Jace. As it goes down the wing. Up they'll set themselves. Good strong mark being taken by Boat Stevens at the Storm.
Stevens quickly moves the ball into the middle of the ground where he finds Sheehan. Sheehan then goes even further wide looking for Lester, but the kick just didn't hit him, and now it spills out. Chance for Sandhurst. Caleb Connick pursues hard after the footy. A little bit younger legs of Caleb Connick there against Ben Lester. He'll then chip inboard, and the mark will be taken here by Darcy Mills. Back in the side for Sandhurst today. Took the risk in the reserves last week and got through. Kick down the line goes in the Maxted direction. Strong above head as always. He'll then wheel around inside forward 50. Kick was a little bit shallow for its target. Knocked off hands. But it's kept alive by the Dragons. It'll be sent in from Palprat. His kick partially smothered. Spills out for the Storm. Handball out of there came from James. And they're just handballing their way out of trouble here, the Storm. Gill got it. Handball further forward to Sheehan. Then Gill kicked it down the line, but straight to Connick. Connick to Hood. Hood then goes with a little dribbling kick, which somehow found its way inside forward 50, and it will bounce away. No, it comes back to Coughlin. Ball bouncing around like crazy out there. Free kick's being called. Didn't see what it was for. It's going to go the way of the Sandhurst Dragons. Advantage play on. Joel Wharton will go goalwards, and he'll cut in the back and put it through. Joel Wharton kicks the goal in game number 200 for Sandhurst, and he's got it. 2-3-15 Sandhurst. A little bit of a messy passage of play. The Storm are 1 straight 6. Score sponsor Bendigo City Framers. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Get it out to the wingman. The wingman seems to be able to slot them through. The forwards haven't been able to take advantage, but that's it's actually quality movement to move it to this side of the ground from Sandhurst. It's the first time they've been able to do this so far, and I think we want to see a bit more of that.
Yeah, we sure do, and the advantage of kicking with that strong breeze is definitely on the grandstand side.
Back in the middle we'll go. Up they'll go in the ruck. Hosking wins it, but it'll be Hood that sharks it for the Dragons. And now we send it inside forward 50 again. Maxted might have got one too high. Umpire got it, is going to pay it for a hold, in fact. Didn't matter, but it was definitely around the chin. And they'll have another shot at goal. Well, not even 30 seconds after the last one, Don.
Yeah, he's starting to cause some headaches for the Strath defence. He's coming up high as well, but he's had some good form coming into the finals and pretty injury free, which we saw him with a lot of injuries last year. So I'll back him in here. Let's see, we can right behind it, Jason. We'll be able to see whether it goes left to right or right to left.
In he comes. Barnard Street ends. It's a long high ball. It'll fade right. it'll come off hands and it'll be a minor score. So the Dragons 2-4-16 lead Storm. 1 goal straight 6. 20 gone. Opening term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
And that did what we thought it would do. So your tip early, go straight for the centre.
Aim at the middle and see how we go. I'll bring the putting reference back. That's been used previous. Just putt at the middle of the hole.
Usually a good set shot for goal, as Max said. He's got 2 behinds today. Blanford plays on for the kicking duties. He'll send it down the poolside wing. Hosking tried to grab it, couldn't quite. Spills off hands there, hard up against the boundary line. And boundary line or a ball up. Take your pick. We'll do the latter of the options. Umpire Goodridge in there. Nally's gone into the ruck for the Storm here. Hosking knocked it down. Sent forward by Sandhurst. Coming through, Nick Stagg couldn't quite take it. Spills out for the Dragons. Nally then just soccers it forward off the ground, but it's all Strathfieldsaye back there. Handball backwards for the Storm from Bode Stevens. Found its way to a teammate who then just sends it high, but it sits up in the breeze. Wilkinson sits underneath it, marks it on his chest. He'll go corridor. Walsh and McLean were not in communication, but Walsh was able to mark it. He'll wheel around with a darting ball inside forward 50. Looking for Tarju, knocked off hands though by Smith. It spills out to Pelprat. Pelprat will snap goalwards, and I think he's kicked it. He's put it around the body from the pocket. Zach Pelprat has snapped it. That is a magnificent goal from Pelprat, and Sandhurst are starting to get some ascendancy in this game. They've now got 3 on the board. They're 3-4-22. The Storm 1 straight 6. 21 minutes gone. Opening quarter. Score sponsored Daily Bricklaying and Construction. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Clearly easier to kick a goal from the grandstand side of the ground at the QEO today. Interested in the way Strathfieldsaye is actually playing here, Don, as well. They're well back behind the ball. They seem really defensive in their mindset.
Yeah, they're trying to hold on, aren't they? John mentioned earlier, it's about 95% of forward play. Let's see if they can change that in this latter part of the quarter.
Dead heat in the middle. Storm, can they build something out? I don't think they will. It will be all with the Dragons. Walsh, a little cute handball over the top, sharing around. Urata getting involved. On the end of it now will be Butler, runs goalward and sprays it wide, but good build-up, and it's a minor score. It'll take the score now to 3-5-23 to the Storm. 1 goal straight, 6. 21 and a half gone opening term.
It'll be brought back into play for the Storm. They'll clear out through Ernst. Ernst will then send it down the line. Mark taken for Strathfieldsaye by Jackson Lay, who was under a bit of a doubt to play today, but he got through training during the week, did Juddy Jackson Lay. He'll then send the kick further down the line, still holding up in the breeze out there. And an intercept mark taken for the Storm. Wilkinson, he'll come inboard Carraher. Carraher can go even further inboard, and he hits up McLean. McLean then goes out towards Cooper Smith. Smith takes the mark. Wilson will man the mark about 80 out from goal, 15 in from the boundary. Cooper Smith, he's going to slow things up before he'll go with a real darting ball inside forward 50. Maxted was out on a charge, couldn't take it, ends up in the hands of Murphy, who's taken in the tackle straight away by Nick Stagg. Around the grounds in the Loddon Valley as well, quarter time in the grand final. It is Pyramid Hill 2-2-14 to Morong 1-2-8.
Dragons in attack again to the Barnard Street end. Was tapped down the throat for the Storm for Blanford. Blanford will go high up the chimney and send it to half back. Under pressure here, the Storm to build. Locking it in will be Charles, and we'll have a ball up on left half back.
Didn't you write Malik Golden off, Jason Stevens? He's back out there.
I did write him off. He's made a remarkable recovery and he's back out there.
Still looks a bit proppy wandering around out there, does Malik Gordon. One down for Sandhurst. Taken high and the tackle will be free. So he will receive a free kick. He'll then look to go inside forward 50 for Sandhurst. Sends it in. It's still holding up out there. Big fly from the side. Tarju, who's playing a lot forward today. Leicester got back. Handballed it out towards James. He couldn't quite take it for Strath. Spills to ground level. They all dive in on top of it. Lockie Wright's in there. And we'll have a ball up. But interesting that Lockie Tarju has just stayed forward the whole time so far.
I think we'll see that. I think he'll be forward with the wind and in the midfield when they're against the wind.
Umpire will ball it up. Maxted doing the ruck work for the Dragons. Ground level, another stoppage. 10 metres in from the boundary line. Deep in the forward pocket, Barnard Street ends. Broadcast side. Umpire will throw it in. Throw it up. Hosking taps it straight down the throat of his teammate in Sheen. Sheen, well, it's a hurried, awkward ball that hardly goes any meterage at all. And we'll have, well, umpire's letting it go. And now he'll have to ball it up. As it's across half forward, 10 metres in from the boundary line. Sandhurst in attack, they lead 23-6, 24 gone opening term.
He's just looking at the bench and watching Bryce give some instructions from the sidelines.
Maxed it out to Smith. Smith to McLean, who's been busy early. He'll then bang it inside forward 50. Went looking for Green, bounced away from him. Storm through Gill, was taken in tackle, spilling to ground. In fact, it was Charles Dole underneath it. Quarter time in the North Central Footy League Grand Final. Birchip Watcham 2-3-15 to Sea Lake 2-1-13. And we've played 25 minutes in the Grand Final in the MCDFNL. Natty Bialaba 5-4-34 to Trentham 2 behinds.
So we're on the outer side of the ground. Storm still looking to build something. They've got one goal on the board. Riley Wilson got his hands on the footy, then lost it. Noah Walsh on that end of a handball now. He'll cross 50. Little handball, little give. Good, strong tackling by the Storm inside their defensive 50. And umpire Goodridge blows his whistle and says, give it to me. And 35 metres out directly in front from the Sandhurst goal. Umpire Goodridge will ball it up.
What he does, Maxted's doing the ruck forward for the Sandhurst Dragons. Ureta gets it. He'll send it around his body. Ratcliffe couldn't mark it. Spills out to Shannon Murphy. Shannon Murphy short pass. Missed its target in Jackson Lay. Turnover. Coughlin to Ruff. Ruff in game 100. Hits the short pass to Matty Wilkinson. And Wilkinson will line him up. 45 out directly in front. But with the wind swirling out there, it's not as easy as it sounds, Jason Stevens.
It's not, but beautiful composed kick from Ruffy there. Just take his time to actually hit that spot. Probably the perfect shot to have a shot at goal, but we haven't had much success from this spot so far.
So Matt Wilkinson, who's 40 metres out directly in front, he'll come in, he'll put it on the right. Distance won't be a problem. It swings to the left, as it has so many times today. And it's another minor score to that left-hand side. 3-6-24 now, Sandhurst. The Storm are one straight 6. Like footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Well, the ball was brought in very quickly by the Storm. It ends up on the outer side, but another turnover. Getting a lot of the footy. Connick now with the Dragons. Short pass laterally to Free. Free will come through the middle of the QEO, then he'll go long inside forward 50. It's a poor kick. It's another turnover. It's a Storm mark taken by Leicester. He'll give a handball off and they'll share it round. Gill's got the footy now. Over the top. Hurried kick will go. Ratcliffe to the wing. They'll set themselves front and centre. Good roving by the Storm. It came through Charles. Inside forward 50. Oh, poor bounce. Running onto it was Gordon. It was a little... He turns around and it's a bit cheeky to Ireland as well. Ireland might have went a little bit slowly at it and all of a sudden he slams it through. Score sponsor Don Smallgoods in Castlemaine is Don is good. That takes the Storm against the flow. 2 goals straight, 12 to Sandhurst 3-6-24. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
He might need a key, Jason, to get that go into Bendigo Senior Sack to get the ball. It's gone that far. It didn't point to land in Rozzy Park.
It went a long way, didn't it? I was about to write him off too. I was going to give him the second ride-off for the day. I thought he looked like he was no good at all, Malik Gordon, running across the middle of the ground. And as soon as the footy was in his zone, didn't feel the ankle anymore at that time.
What ankle?
Yes.
Jeez, he was brave doing the turnaround and looking if he has got a dodgy ankle. That could have so easily went wrong for Malik Gordon. And at one stage, I thought he was going to fall over at one stage there, and it would have been rather embarrassing if that had happened in the goal square. But he's got 2 goals on the board. Does Malik Gordon, big player for Strathfieldsaye.
And big goal at the time. Cam, 27 minutes in.
Leicester goes into the ruck for the Storm. We'll call it a dead heat between him and Butler. Hits the bottom of the ground. They try and handball it forward. It spills out for the Storm. In there is Charles. He's pounced upon by a pack of Dragons. And we'll have a ball up. 80 metres out from goal. They'll look to move it forward.
Final score in the preliminary final for A Reserve in the netball. Sandhurst 38 have been defeated by Storm 41 and they'll move on to play Gisborne. That's Gisborne versus Stanley.
Handball from Harvey, worked its way to Jones. Jones inside forward 50. Mark taken by Malik Gordon again. Isn't he having some sort of first quarter? He was written off. He's come back and he's going to go back for goal number 3. And well, I hate to say it, Jace, but you had him written off and he's showing you wrong.
I know, it was not my finest hour, that one, Cam, but credit to him. He's out there. He's clearly inhibited by the ankle, but he's... And
it's the right one too, so it'll be interesting to see how this comes off.
40 metres out, and remarkable if he kicks this, it'll be back to just a single goal the difference for all Sandhurst domination in this quarter. Gordon, 40 out, directly in front, goes goalwards, and he puts it through. He has got 3 goals in this quarter, and it is just a 6-point margin at the QEO. What a couple of minutes for the Storm. They're 3 straight 18. Sandhurst 3-6-24. Score sponsor, Bendigo City Framers, where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Yeah, no putting curse there, JC. Looked like he just went exactly at the centre.
Aimed at the middle and it held there, didn't it? It's actually
Didn't move.
Did not move at all. It's actually interesting. They've actually been pretty dominant here too, Strathfieldsaye, around the stoppages. When they get their hands on the ball in the stoppage, they look dangerous forward of it. So I'll be interested to see what happens at this one.
Back into the middle for the ball up. It'll be Leicester doing the ruck work on this occasion, as we'll have a secondary ball up. It's a stoppage. And coming into the side, young Wilson Butler for the Dragons, having a little bit of an impact, I reckon, as Leicester again, he grabs the footy out of the ball, goes 5 metres forward, they hack it forward again, inside forward 50 will go for the Storm, running with the fly to the ball. Wilkinson did well for the Dragons with a courageous mark and a heel clear defensive 50.
The Waves players across and then chips a short pass to Free. We're just about to tick into the 30th minute of this opening quarter with a lot of stoppages in this one. Free, he'll play on. He'll bang it down the grandstand side wing. Ratcliffe will be there to punch it forward, but it spills out now for Hood. Hood handball's looking for Walsh. Just quite missed him. Walsh will go in a one-on-one battle with Matt Harvey. But that is quarter time. An entertaining first quarter here at the QEO. It is the Sandhurst Dragons. They probably dominated large periods of this quarter, Jason Stevens, and they only lead it by 6 points.
They didn't take advantage of their scoreboard pressure, did they? That was they needed to make a bit more advantage of the time that they had it in the forward half. We've got a game, definitely quarter time.
Quarter time, it is Sandhurst 3-6-24 leading the Strathfieldsaye Storm 3 straight 18. Bendigo Footy League prelim final day. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Noah Walsh couldn't quite claim it. Spills off hands. Matty Merritt picks it up for the Dogs. Shrugs off the tackle. Merritt then steadies. He goes goalwards. Matt Merritt kicks the first goal of the day for Gisborne. Good crowd in. Sexton gets the first run, but he's knocked it straight to Benaki. Benaki sharks it and goals. Gisborne have come to play at the QEO. Just think if Gisborne kick one here from this contest, it'll be well on their way. Dennehy stays out of the ruck. He rolls through the middle, and Zach Dennehy. Yeah, Sandhurst, they finish on top of the ladder, but they're going to be forced to do it the hard way in 2024. The Gisborne Bulldogs book slot 1 in the 2024 Big Dance, which will be played here at the QEO. High ball inside forward 50 in the Gordon direction. Just didn't quite carry. Ball spills off hands. Strosh back there for Golden Square. Couldn't take it. Wilson front and centre. Roves the ball. And Wilson snaps around his body. Pye heaves the ball a long way back inside. Off hands. Clossy goes through for Storm. Picked it up. He showed some candy. Dan Clossy. And he goes goalwards. Daniel Clossy kicks the Storm second.
Umpire didn't muck around. He threw it up in the air. 20 metres out from goal. Hurriedly kicked out of the pack. It come from Golden Square through Toma. It's the final quarter. He hops, he steps, he's a bit nervous, and he has kicked a goal!
It'll come back inside though for the Dogs. It spills to Rayner. Rayner handballs to Toma. This might make him excited. Toma snaps the goal. He's kicked it, but the siren sounds. Toma gave a big celebration, and then he dropped because he was celebrating the goal, but it will not matter.
a 6-point advantage here at quarter time, but I felt the better players. Kobe Maxted was dangerous, wasn't able to finish his good work in the forward line, but was certainly dangerous. I like Zach Pelprat in the middle. I thought he was accumulated a fair bit of the footy, noting that couple of other mids were sort of forward of the ball a little bit more that quarter. Caleb Connick across the wing, Jake McLean and probably Dayton Ureta. Is it Ureta or is it Ureta?
Sounds good to know.
Something along those lines. Through the middle of the ground, I thought was pretty damaging as well.
In the netball A grade, just an update. 2 playing 3, Sandhurst trail. So that game just underway.
So across to me, John. So, yeah, just on that, Jason, I think that, we mentioned Wilson Butler at the start of the game. He's played one senior game. He hasn't embarrassed himself.
No, he certainly hasn't, has he?
No,
the next one on my list, he was really good.
So I've just taken some stats here, and the clearances around stoppage and centre, they're basically at head-to-head, they're 8 and 8, and that's centre clearances as well as around the stoppage around the ground. So he's definitely competing in the middle. So he'd be another one we'll watch. But as for Strathfield Storm, Strathfieldsaye Storm, I'd be going with Malik Gordon. Their forward entries for Strath were 4, and he kicked 3 goals. So I've taken down the forward entries throughout the day so far, and we're looking at 24 for Sandhurst, and Strath have had 4, and he's kicked 3. So he's at the top of my list because he's kicking goals. Goals win matches. Daniel Clossey's been great. Cooper Jones, I don't know how it was he had. He's had at least 6 kicks from kicking in from minor scores, and Tim Hosking going well in the ruck as well. And don't forget Caleb Burns. He's been strong in the air, fisting the ball out of Ferg's hands.
And plenty of Gisborne people listening along as well. They got the job done in the under-18s by 2 points over Golden Square, 6-12-41 to 4-15-39. And in the reserves, comfortable win 8-9-57 to the Storm, 2-3-15. But the good story, if you're Gisborne listening along, is Jared Lynch made a comeback in the reserves today, and looking at the way he's walking past us out there, he seems to have got through well. So a possible late inclusion for a grand final for Jared Lynch for Gisborne would make a huge statement for the Dogs. Terrific player. But here at the QEO, Jason, who do you think is going to have to stand up in this quarter for Strathfieldsaye? And does it seem to be a little bit like if Malik Gordon doesn't kick him, who will?
It does, and certainly I thought Zach Charles was actually okay getting the footy forward, and he's just sort of blasted it forward to allow those players to run onto it. But I'm really interested to see how damaging this wind is. I'd imagine the Sandhurst group will change up a little bit around the ball, but I'm really interested to see how this wind works, if it goes in Strathfieldsaye's favour, or if Sandhurst can lock it down.
And interestingly, Tardy's gone forward, so he hasn't gone into the middle. So maybe a bit of an injury worry there. It's possible.
To get the second quarter underway, here's John Hunter. Look, Footy Lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Preliminary final here, 2024. Let's see what the Storm can do. They're kicking to the Barnard Street end this end. They've got the wind. They'll get a first free kick out of the middle. Come laterally via Clossey, who hits Sheehan. Sheehan now goes to Chambers. So left half forward. Plays on. Wheels. He'll go inside forward 50. The wind grabs it, goes to the top of the square. Getting his hands on the footy will be Stevens. Also grabbing the footy was James. Did well, handballed it inboard. But the Dragons doing well to block it in. Now it'll be Gill. Gill tries to run onto the football. And it might be Tananelli who gets a free kick for a hold, and does. And he'll be able to relieve the pressure for the Dragons.
Is that Clossey down there forward as well? Did we see at the start of that stoppage?
Well, he started in the centre.
Yeah,
yep. He took the first free kick.
So Nally will bang it down the right wing. It swirls in the breeze, and floating in front is the man of the moment, Daniel Clossey. A terrific grab. So he'll mark it. He'll look to send it back inside forward 50. Clossey on the right sends a high ball inside forward 50. Needs someone to get underneath it. A couple of Sandhurst players, they bump into each other. It spills out for the Storm. Tarju now in defence will go through, and he's taken in a tackle straight away. Ball up inside forward 50, but those high kicks inside forward 50 probably isn't the play this afternoon.
Umpire will throw it up. Storm in attack. Trying to grab it out will be Jones. Can't get it. And it's a hurry kick out of the pack. It came from Harvey. He punched the sky as if he kicked the goal and then realised he hadn't. And it snuck through for a minor score. Sandhurst 24, the Storm 19. This second term brought to you by our sponsors, Rural and Outdoors Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Interested to see here how Sandhurst brings this ball out of defence, if they take the same approach that Strathfieldsaye took in the first quarter and go long and wide out towards those hospitality tents, or if he can actually pick a short.
So Free consistently going down the poolside wing. And it flies over the back, no mark taken. And every kick down that wing just seems to be holding up in the breeze. And they yet continually do so, Jason.
Yeah, it's a defensive play, obviously. Try and get a stoppage over there and then move it slowly out of the dangerous sort of area.
So it'll be a throw in. Hosking might have got first hands to it. Spills to ground level. Gill tried to find a way through for the Storm. It came out to Shan. Shan found some space, then with a little delicate kick inside forward 50, Nelly has given away a free kick, and it's going to be going the way of Zach Charles for Strathfieldsaye. So not sure what that free kick was for.
It looked like a push.
I'm not sure how he pushes when I thought he actually had front position, but
Yeah, the umpire's hands. Yeah, he signalled a push.
So it'll be a free kick to Zach Charles. He'll have to kick it all of 50 metres from a couple of metres in from the boundary. Right-hand forward pocket, poolside change rooms. Charles comes in on the right. He'll start it left. It'll swing in the breeze. He might have put it through. He has. And the crowd goes wild here at the QEO. Zach Charles has kicked the goal and Strathfieldsaye are in front. 4-1-25 to Storm, 3-6-24 Sandhurst. Early stages of the second quarter. And Sandhurst couldn't convert their set shots, but Zach Charles says this is how it's done. Score sponsor Ruling Outdoors, Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
knowing Zach as well, he did a fair bit of a celebration over there in front of the Strathfieldsaye supporters on the opposite side of the ground. That's probably the right guy to kick a goal early with the wind. That'll get the boys up and about a bit.
Back in the middle, Hosking doing the ruck work again in the A-grade netball. Gisborne, Sandhurst trail 5 to Kangaroo Flat 7. Early days in the netball. Back here at the football now. It's Smith that picks it up. Gives a handball to the back door to Ruff for the Dragons. On the left, he'll kick it to half forward. McLean, front position, doing well defensively. At the back of the pack there was Jackson Lay. It goes over the boundary line, cross half forward, we'll have a ball in. Sanders in attack, kicking to the city end, swimming pool side. It's a 1 point margin, the Storm lead 25-24. 4 minutes gone, second term.
Throw in poolside wing, Hosking wins it down. Clossy quick handball to Wilson, who was bursting through. Wilson sends it inside to Gordon again. He is so strong in a one-on-one contest with Ireland. Gordon from 50. He then sends the pass to the top of the goal square, and charging out and taking the mark is Bode Stevens, 25 out, well 35 metres out, in fact almost directly in front for goal. But that is a terrific play for Strathfieldsaye, and good composure from Malik Gordon to hit that pass. And it's Bode Stevens who will line him up, 30 out, almost directly in front. So Bode Stevens will come in on his right foot. And he puts through the goal. So Strathfieldsaye are rolling in this second quarter. They're 5-1-31. The Storm, the Sandhurst Dragons are 3 goals, 5-23. And it is a big lead now to the Storm. Starting to get a little bit out of control. It is score sponsor JB Restumping. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Geez, it was a good build-up off half-back, wasn't it, by Storm, and linking to Riley Wilson. And, geez, he's strong in the air, isn't he, Malik? And the foot skills, that right foot, looks okay because that was lace out to Stevens. And we sat behind that one, and that went straight through the centre. So, great finish. They're taking total advantage of their inside 50 so far.
Back in the middle, Hosking against Butler of the Dragons. Hosking taps it forward, tries to put it in the path of Harvey. They're lining up though. Jones by hand gives it to Clossy. Clossy, an awkward little ball, only goes 10 metres forward. Hell without the footy. Storm play will be a free kick for a hold. They're coming up with Mulquinny. They've got the long sleeves over on Mulquinny and Jones. He gives it to the ladder in Jones. And kick was smothered well by Ruff. Over the boundary line it goes, and on the broadcast side we'll have a ball in. 24 playing 31. Dragons trail, 6 minutes gone, second term.
Isaac Raff read that beautifully, didn't he? Come across, and they're always going to link up with Cooper Jones.
He did, and interestingly, Cooper Jones forward to the footy now, so he's playing that role. He's going to stay at one end of the ground by the looks of it.
So getting to the front will be Wilson Butler, knocked it down. It was a bit of a shovel throw out of there from Matt Harvey, and umpire Griffith says, I wasn't not seeing that one. It was almost a rugby pass. So free kick will end up in its way to Lockie Hood. Centre wing position, grandstand side. Lockie Hood.
The Teddy Whitten flick.
Will quickly go forward to kick, well, knocked forward by Coughlin. Spills backwards for the Storm. Clossie will receive from Charles Dole, who's one of the inclusions back into the side. He goes in the middle and finds one of the other inclusions in Behrens. Behrens further forward to Jones. Jones then just heaves a handball forward to Wilson. He steps around his opponent. Short pass inside forward 50 is a really good pass. And it lands on the chest of a Strathfieldsaye player, and they'll line him up. It's Riley Mulquinny, who is 45 metres out, slightly to the right of goal. But based on previous kicks from here, distance will not be a problem. The accuracy and the wind may do so.
I think it might have come from James there, Jason. In fact, the kick in was a very nice pass.
Beautiful kick.
So it'll be sent towards goal. In he comes, and he starts it to the right-hand side through for a minor score. So 5-2-32 the Storm. Mulquinny with the minor. The Sandhurst Dragons 3-6-24, 7 minutes gone. Second quarter, score sponsor JB re-stumping.
Yeah, just find a target here. He can't blast it long down that side again. They need to find a target and milk some clock.
Well, free, goes short. By foot hits Smith. Smith of the Dragons in his defensive zone. Now he'll spread it wide. He hits up right. Right still across half-back. Hard up against the boundary line. Swimming pool side, kicking to the city end. Right now. Kicks a 40-metre ball down the line. Tardrew jumped high and jumped early. Got his hands on the foot. He couldn't collect it. Now it'll be a turnover. Stevens on the end of a handball. They'll look to work it here. The Storm. It came from Sheen. Goes, in fact, it might have been Dole with the long sleeves on this afternoon. Kicks it to half forward. Now pack forms, ground level. Coughlin emerges. Gives it straight to Hallinan of the Storm. He'll go inside forward 50 now. 2-on-1. Keeping his ground there was Gordon. Did well. They're really conscious of him, the Dragons now, as they hold it up 15 metres out directly in front of goal that the Storm are attacking will have a ball up.
It was a good result for Storm. It was a 2v1 there, and they managed to get a restart, so great forward pressure.
Gordon goes into the ruck, knocks it down to Riley Wilson. He'll quickly fire it towards goal. In fact, it's Carson James, actually, that fires that one through. Minor score. 3-6 playing 5-2. Storm by 8 points. He brought back into play by Harrison Free for the Sandhurst Dragons. Decent crowd behind the goals there, just waiting for them to give the footy back to Harrison Free. Interesting, he's looking like he might come down the grandstand side wing, which has been against the play today. He'll chip a short pass instead. Grandstand side wing, though, finds Hood. Just not a lot of movement forward of the footy. Hood's forced a short pass to Carraher. Carraher across half-back. Really not much going ahead further of the footy. He's just going to go back to where it came. They'll emerge, though, the Dragons. Handball came out wide. Connick gave it to McLean, who sends it forward down the line. Bouncing ball. Cooper Smith back there, knocked it forward. Coughlin then picked it up, went straight in to Tim Hosking, but they managed to work it forward. Smith gets it out to Butler. Butler can give it off to Pelprat. He wants to go longer, does Butler. Magnificent kick to Fergus Green, who got around the back. He's taken the mark. Did it hit the ground? The Storm faithful think so, but geez, I thought Butler had burnt the handball option inside, but he knew exactly what he was doing. Fergus Green gets around the back of Ernst and he takes the mark 15 out. Slight angle to the right of the goals, but that was a magnificent kick from young Wilson Butler.
Yeah, it was, and broke my one of my coaching rules. Don't let the ruckman kick it. I would have given it to the small bloke. I would have been encouraging that. But credit to the kid. He put it in a perfect spot.
Well, if he didn't get the kick right, he might have been in a bit of strife for not handballing off to Pelprat, I reckon, there. But Fergus Green, Bendigo City end, can come in. 15 out, not much of an angle. And, well, he kicked it to the left and he misses. That's a disappointing result for Fergus Green. A minor score. And it is 3-7-25 playing 5-3-33. Advantage Storm, 11 minutes gone, second quarter. The score sponsor is Daily Bricklaying and Construction. Half-time in the North Central Grand Final as well. The Sea Lake Nandaly Tigers 5-3-33, leading Birchip Watcham 3-3-21.
Yeah, on days like today when it's windy, you've got to make the most of every chance that you get coming forward. That's their first forward entry. And Fergus is a beautiful kick normally, and that just really swung across the face of the goal.
Blandford will bring it in for the Storm. Decides to bring it broadcast side. Sits up high, beyond 50. Jumping high, jumping early was Wilkinson. Offering support there was Walsh. By hand gives it to Mills. Mills will go inside forward 50 now. And over the top comes Ernst. A big punch that sends the ball right over to the security guard against the fence, and we'll have a ball in.
If you're going to spoil it, that's the way you want. There's no no light drops or soft drops here. It's just straight over the fence. That's a way to kill a footy.
Got the result he was after. So the boundary throw in will come. A little bit shallow, the ruckman. Getting there first, it looks like Wright's gone into the ruck for Sandhurst. Ball hits the bottom of the pack. We'll have the ball up again. Where the boundary throw in landed, 20 metres in from the boundary. Ben Lester down there for Strathfieldsaye doing the ruck. Lockie Wright for the Sandhurst rucking. Wright wins it down. Coughlin tries to come through. Clossy sharked it. And he just barreled it out of defence. It'll go a long way further forward, but Liam Island will take intercept mark for Sandhurst. He'll clear it across to Tanner Nelly, who's across half-back.
Nelly, short pass, Maxted. Outer side wing, just defensive side of it. Now he'll spread it further wide. Hits Carraher. Carraher with the Dragons. True centre wing now. Swimming pool side. Down the line. Paul kick. Clossy intercepted for the Storm. Now it's in dispute. Who will come out the winner? They're all hitting hard. Coughlin does for the Dragons. On the left. Goes straight up the chimney. Heads towards the boundary line. And it'll come off hands. We'll have a ball up. Across half forward now. The Dragons are in attack. They trail 25 to 33. 13 minutes gone, second term. This second term sponsored by Rural and Outdoors Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Throw it in. Lester wins it down. Wilson will then send it forward for the Storm. Maxted parks himself behind the footy. Takes the intercept mark for the Dragons. Look to come in board, but not liking any of the options. He'll go with a short pass to Ureta. Ureta gets and goes, and he realises there's no one in front of him, so he plays on quickly on the right, sends it up towards centre half forward. Charles Dole, in those bright orange boots and the long sleeves, takes the intercept mark for Strathfieldsaye.
Doesn't know quite which way to go. He's invited to play on, which he does. It's a long ball. Will go to the outer side wing. Falls to the back of the pack. Harvey swoops on it for the Storm. He is all tied up by two Dragons, one of them being Coughlin, who did well on the other, Ureta. And we'll have a ball up. True centre wing, swimming pool side. Umpire Goodrich, throw it in the air. Lester will do the ruck work for Storm. Up they'll go. Nelly won the tap for the Dragons. Emerging with a footy will be Walsh. Inside forward 50 they'll go. For the Storm defensively. And it might be a free kick. Which way is it going to go? It's going to go to the Storm, is it?
Yeah, Riley Wilson looks like he's won a free kick there.
He has. He looks towards goal, and it's a long way from home.
Won't be a problem. It'll go through post high. Beautiful kick of the footy.
As the wind is hammering through the effects mod just as we speak. We'll cross the paint mark of 50, pretty much directly in front. Riley Wilson, will make the distance easily. There's a bit of a copter ball and slams into the post for a minor score. Storm 34 now, Dragons 25. Midway through this second term, local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
The distance wasn't a problem, was it at all? And he's hit the woodwork. So, yeah, nice shot on, and the wind's definitely doing a lot when that ball's high in the air.
Interesting down here too, Tadri spent about 5-6 minutes off on the sidelines, probably a little bit of work in his calf. Back on the field now.
He's certainly looking a bit proppy, doing some run-throughs in front of us as well. Kick out finds Wilkinson. Wilkinson will handball backwards to Wright. Wright will then send the kick down the line, but it's going to be turned over. Young Carson James intercepts for the Storm. He quickly gets it moving. He'll work it out to Murphy. This is Shannon Murphy. He'll then send the high ball inside forward 50. And, well, Isaac Ruff could have almost marked it. It just carried over the back of him. Lockie Gill. Handball back in boards from Gill looking for Wilson. Carraher. Threw it out of there. It spills out. Connick handballs to Smith. Smith couldn't quite control it. Gill then went through again for the Storm. Spilling out. That was a throw out of there. Wilkinson worked it out to Mills. And then Mills to McLean. McLean's kick will be smothered over the boundary line for a boundary throw in right in front of the Strathfieldsaye coach's bench. It is 3-7-25 Sandhurst, 5-4-34 the Storm, 16.5 gone. Second quarter. Score sponsor Daily Bricklaying and Construction.
If you're going to bring the pressure, you don't want to bring it anywhere else other than in front of the coach's box. Strath's pressure was terrific there, wasn't it? They managed to hold it up, and now we've got a stoppage.
Umpire will throw it in. Lester will be doing the ruck work against Nelly. Too unlikely ruckman. It's all tied up on half 40 for the Storm. It's going to be a free kick to Jake McLean. By hand, a little give to Walsh. Walsh of the Dragons, into the middle. Hits up Fergus Green, who's a long way from home. He'll now go wide. He's got Joel Wharton breaking for him, and Polpratt, who'll win the foot race. Oh, it bends towards Polpratt, picks it up, and he's 60 from home now, and he gets collared. And we'll have a stoppage. In attack now, Dragons trailing 25-34. The Storm lead, 17 gone second term.
That ball has gone inside 50 and then come back out on its own.
Hard to hit a player breaking inside forward 50 in these conditions, I reckon. Free kick for the Storm will be a ruck infringement. Leicester quickly handballs off. They'll bang it down the line to the Storm. They'll fly. Good mark taken on the far wing. This is by Cooper Jones.
Riley Wilson's out
He'll
here.
quickly wheel. Inside forward 50 he goes. He tries to go longer, does Wilson, in the direction of Stevens, but Darcy Mills back there is happy to see it over the boundary line from a Sandhurst point of view. Right hand forward pocket of the Barnard Street end of the ground. It's in a good end if you're a Strathfieldsaye Storm supporter.
Jason, you'd like to see Cooper Jones look a little bit more lateral then.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Riley White was out, wasn't he?
Yeah, your call was perfect. They need to move the ball sideways a little bit. They don't want to get in the habit of just blasting it down there.
Umpire will throw it in. Charles doing the ruck work in the forward zone now for the Storm. It's at ground level. Shoveled out to Sheen. His kick, it was effective and it was neat. It was low to the top of the square in the hot spot, and a mark's been taken by Stevens.
We just mentioned Riley White. He was the one at the bottom of that. So, yeah, he's really moving across the ground well today.
Beautiful set of hands on Stevens' end too. That's a difficult ball to mark coming into the post.
In the netball, Sandhurst 11 trail Kangaroo Flat 18 in the preliminary final. The winner will go on next week to play Gisborne in the grand final of the netball.
Are we allowed to cheer in here, or are we allowed to throw some bias?
You can do that. You can throw some bias. Stevens now, Barnard Street and kicks through that footy. And the Storm are on today. I'll tell you what, danger signs now out to a 15-point margin. It is 6-4-40 the Storm to 3-7-25 Dragons. Scoreboard sponsor Parsons Towing. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo, 18 gone second term.
It's interesting, isn't it? That the ball movement was clearly where Strathfieldsaye gets the advantage and gets the goal. But coming to the other end, Sandhurst had an opportunity to get the ball at the back and were unable to take that chance. In the first quarter, Strathfieldsaye were able to take their chances. So Sandhurst really needs to dig in here. This is a danger time of the game.
I think Ben Lester's been doing a lot of the ruck work for the Storm. Haven't seen much of Hosking out there this quarter. Keep an eye on that one as the Storm will then send it inside forward 50 from Matt Harvey. It's almost back with the flight. Charles couldn't quite take it, bouncing around in defence. But it's a lot of pressure around this footy. Handball came out to Jones. Jones then shovels the handball out. James couldn't take it. Island's little kick out of there. We'll call it a little kick. It was more of a grubber. It spills out for the Storm. And a free kick for a high tackle is going to be rewarded. Strathfieldsaye player hard on top of the footy was caught high by Liam Island, and it will be a free kick, just seeing who's going to emerge from the bottom of the pack for Strathfieldsaye, and it looks like it will be Hugh Behrens who will line him up 40 out, and he can give Strathfieldsaye a 21-point margin. Big kick for Huey Behrens. That's half-time in the Maryborough Castlemaine Footy League Grand Final. Natty Bialaba 8-7-55 to Trentham 3-5-23. So Hugh Behrens in the side this week. On the right, starts at left, never looked likely, minus score. So their lead is now out to 16 points. 6-5-41 to Sandhurst 3-7-25. 20 minutes gone in the second quarter. The score sponsor is Jason Westcott Builder.
Jason, did you see Tananelli just went through the gate and into the rooms?
Jumper off as well, so I would suggest something shoulder take potentially. But yeah, that's one to watch as well.
Free for the Dragons will send it out of side. Looks for Maxted. Leicester did well defensively, punch in there from behind. Leicester then a hurried little kick inside forward 50. It was a soccer ball, and now at 49 metres. Coach Stevens going in hard. He's having a good game here for the Storm, and we'll have a ball up 49 from home. Storm in attack again.
That grass is going to be worn out on the pool side, isn't it, in that pocket? We continue to have a stop and restart in that spot all day so far.
I reckon we can shift the commentary box into that position. We'd be right on top of the player, I reckon, as the Storm will send it inside forward 50. McLean will be tackled by Jones, and he was rather cautious with the tackle to not slam him into the ground as well. And we'll have a ball up just inside forward 50. Umpire wastes no time balling it up. Still Leicester in the ruck for the Storm. Knocked down. Carragher makes the tackle on Carson James, and we'll have another go.
Up they'll go in the ruck again. Grabbed out of the air now nicely by Charles, and he goes goal. Would put it on the boot for a minor score. So the Storm go to 42. Dragons 25. 22 minutes gone, second term.
Yeah, you've got to do a bit better than that, than allowing the ruckman to grab it out and taking a shot on.
They just look more dangerous, aren't they, down there in that forward line at the moment?
Yeah, their forward pressure's great, but geez, yeah, Sandhurst are holding up. They're keeping at a tight one at this point.
So Free will bring it in. He'll go the short pass to Mills. Mills plays on. Handball Ireland. Wasn't expecting it. Just got it back in the nick of time. Mills will then get the follow-through, and I think he was taken out of it downfield after he'd disposed of the footy. The downfield free kick for Sandhurst. It'll be a chance for Stagg. Stagg then just dump kicks one towards centre half forward. Tarju will take the mark on his chest against Dole. Quickly handballs to Joel Wharton. Joel Wharton will then send a pass in towards Green, and it was going to hit him on the chest, but Shannon Murphy got back and he stood in the hole and took a relieving intercept mark. He chips it out to Matt Harvey. Terrific play, Shannon Murphy. Harvey will then chip the short pass and it will find Caleb Sheehan.
Wharton had Jake McLean wide open on the other side of the ground there and missed that opportunity, so disappointing forward entry.
Just watching Riley Wilson and Noah Walsh going at it together. That's just like me and you going at it, Jason, I reckon.
Who's coming out on top, though?
Oh, you might. You've probably got a couple extra kegs than me, I reckon. I mean that in the nicest possible way.
That's weight shaming on air.
Yeah, but both men of love, though, I'd say. As the ball goes inside forward 50 again now for the Dragons. The target was Green and couldn't hit him, and it goes over the boundary line for a ball in. So the Storm, just look on here this afternoon. They're in front, 42 playing 25. We're nearly at half time. Sandhurst a bit of work to do as the umpire will throw it in. Up they'll go in the ruck. Grabbed out of the air now. It was Tardrew. Couldn't collect with the footy. It was a hurried kick out of the back zone now for the Storm. To the outer side. Bouncing footy. Ground level. Rough. Jumps in after the footy. Short pass forward. It's poor. Hits up Gill of the opposition. And now it's the Storm across halfback.
So Lockie Gill finds its way into the hands of Sheehan, who just stumps it forward, but it's all Sandhurst back there. They'll have the numbers at the ground level where they'll relieve a kick into the middle of the ground. Comes out to Walsh. Walsh gets it. He'll then send it out to Urita, but it's a shocking kick off the side of the boot. Urita's going to have to use his pace to get there. Just gets there before it tracks over the boundary line. He then steps around Jackson Lay. Hard up against the boundary line. He's taken by Matt Harvey. He'll got a nice kick actually against the pressure. Mark taken by Wright. Wright inboard. Now the Dragons are away. They'll send it inside forward 50. It'll go goalwards from Harrison Free. It bounces. It gets a good bounce over the back from Joel Wharton. Minor score. I reckon he might have been going for Joel Wharton. Didn't quite see him out the corner of my eye there. 3-8-26 Sandhurst, 6-6-42 Storm. 25 minutes played in the second quarter. It'll be Blandford to bring the ball back into play. Score sponsor Don Smallgoods. Don is good.
I'd hate to go against you, Cam, but I think his eyes lit up when he streamed through 50. He was going all the way to goals.
He's being polite, I think, Cam, wasn't he? As Blandford plays on from fullback, sends it long, but it was a poor kick. Wright had position. Basically unopposed in the end, took a mark. He'll go inboard. That's a poor kick. Kicked it straight to Riley Wilson of the Storm. So a couple of fundamental errors by both sides. Spreads it wide now to Jones, and Jones will slow things down in the defensive zone for the Storm.
So Jones will then look to come right across. He handballs off to Ernst, who then looks to go back down the wing, steps around Green, and then sends the kick long. And Noah Walsh will take the intercept mark for Sandhurst. He'll come inboard to Carragher. Oh, just got there. Top of the arms free kick, because I reckon he was going to mark it either way. But Carragher quickly plays on. Ireland's got some space on the far wing. He'll take it. He'll handball forward to Mills. Mills will then have to step around Clossy. He does so. Gets onto his right. Sends it inside forward 50. Storm player knocking the ball towards ground there was Dole. It spills out now. McLean, short pass into the pocket. Good ball. And it's marked by Jake McLean, who's 30 metres out. Not too much of an angle to deal with, though, for Jake McLean. Almost in line with that left-hand goalpost. And it is half-time as well in the Loddon Valley Footy League Grand Final, thanks to Wayne Smith-Morong. They've got a good quarter, 5-5-35, leading Pyramid Hill 2-3-15.
It's good to see Darcy Mills getting involved. He's a really good user of the ball, and Jake McLean's got a 35-metre Set shot.
Almost directly in front for Jake McLean. They need this one, Sandhurst. It goes goalward. Look at that one. It just sat up in the breeze. I wasn't sure it was actually going to go through at one stage there. It's a minor score.
It looked like it was home, didn't it? And then at that last moment, it just veered away.
Really held up too. 3-9-27, 6-6-42.
Good news for Sandhurst. Tanner Nelly's about to go back on the ground.
Bendigo City framers.
For those listening back at home too, the goalposts here at the city end of the QEO are wobbling like the balls hit them.
They are.
That's how windy it is down that end.
Cooper Jones played on from fullback for the Storm and sends broadcast side in front of us, comes off hands.
About time we got some play in front of us, I reckon.
Well, Brad, you're not getting a cam, I can tell you that. That's one thing for sure. As first time I've had to use my binos all afternoon. As the umpire will throw it in. Up they'll go in the ruck. Hosking taps it forward, goes to Walsh of the Dragons though. Good strong tackling Wilson. Emerging for the footy is Jackson Lade with the Storm. Will go to half forward. There's nobody there. Tracking the football will be Kobe Maxted. He's got Jones up his backside. Can't quite pick it up as they run towards the boundary. I reckon Kobe Maxted laboured then. He almost looked like he grabbed a hamstring, but I might be going a bit too hard.
Someone's won a free kick.
It might be Maxted that's got that free kick on the bottom of the pack, or it might be Jake McLean.
Well, I'm not going to talk about injuries anymore. After I put a line through Malik Gordon earlier, I'm going to stay well and truly away from the injuries.
Actually, I think it's a case that Maxted might be just cooked. He just looked like he was puffed out, and he's going to get the free kick.
Yeah, it was a hard press, so Maxted has it across half back for Sandhurst. Looking for something down the line. She's going to send it down the pool side wing, and it's either a mark to Noah Walsh or it's out of bounds on the full. A couple of the Storm supporters behind the bench there behind the wings thought it was on the full, but mark to Walsh. Short pass McLean. McLean goes back to where it came, bounces it out in front of Lockie Wright, who spins away from Ratcliffe, sends it up towards centre half forward. It actually bounced out the back to Butler. Butler's kick was smothered. Free went through, tackled by Wilson, spills inside forward 50, bouncing around, ball it up underneath the scoreboard, which reads Sandhurst 27, the Storm 42.
Kangaroo Flat lead the netball 26-17 against Sandhurst. As we're in the forward zone now for the Dragons. Looking to get one on the board before half-time. They need one just to settle things down. As Free grabs the footy for the Dragons, he's tackled. And 35 from home for the Dragons. Will have a ball up. Stoppage. Umpire will throw it up. Up they go in the ruck. Butler doing the ruck work for the Dragons. Might be a free kick to Blanford. Over the top was Green, and it will be. So the Storm, half-time siren. Dragons 3-9-27, trail the Storm 6-6-42.
A cracking half, and the Storm will be the happier of the two coaches as we head into half-time, but the Storm have got a 6-6-42 lead to 3-9-27. But there definitely does seem to be a bit of an advantage to the Barnard Street end. Half-time in the North Central Football League, Sea Lake 5-3-33 to Birchip Watcham 3-3-21. It is also half-time in the MCDFNL, Natty Bialaba 8-7-55 to Trentham 3-5-23. And in the Loddon Valley Footy League, it is Morong 5-5-35 to Pyramid Hill 2-3-15. All those games are at half-time. We're at half-time here at the QEO as well. It's a 15-point lead to the Storm, but do not go anywhere because a cracking second half is to come. Here from the Queen Elizabeth Oval, it is Bendigo Footy League prelim final day. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Noah Walsh couldn't quite claim it. Spills off hands. Matty Merritt picks it up for the Dogs. Shrugs off the tackle. Merritt then steadies. He goes goalwards. Matt Merritt kicks the first goal of the day for Gisborne. Good crowd in. Sexton gets the first run, but he's knocked it straight to Benaki. Benaki sharks it and goals. Gisborne have come to play at the QEO. Just think if Gisborne kick one here from this contest, it'll be well on their way. Dennehy stays out of the ruck. He rolls through the middle and Zach Dennehy. Yeah, Sandhurst, they finish on top of the ladder, but they're going to be forced to do it the hard way in 2024. The Gisborne Bulldogs book slot 1 in the 2024 Big Dance, which will be played here at the QEO. High ball inside forward 50 in the Gordon direction. Just didn't quite carry. Ball spills off hands. Strosh back there for Golden Square. Couldn't take it. Wilson front and centre. Roves the ball. And Wilson snaps around his body. Pye heaves the ball a long way back inside. Off hands. Clossy goes through for Storm. Picked it up. He showed some candy. Dan Clossy. And he goes goalwards. Daniel Clossy kicks the Storm second.
Umpire didn't muck around. He threw it up in the air. 20 metres out from goal. Hurriedly kicked out of the pack. It come from Golden Square through Toma. It's the final quarter. He hops, he steps, he's a bit nervous, and he has kicked a goal!
It'll come back inside though for the Dogs. It's Phil to Rayner. Rayner handballs to Toma. This might make him excited. Toma snaps the goal. He's kicked it, but the siren sounds. Toma gave a big celebration, and then he dropped because he was celebrating the goal, but it will not matter. Don Moran and John Hunter here with you this afternoon. Wallace Teasdale in the background pushing all the buttons as well here for Footy Fresh. And it is the Sandhurst Dragons 3-9-27 to the Strathfieldsaye Storm 6-6-42. The Storm are playing very impressively in the first half. The Dragons have been a little bit wayward. It is halftime scores in grand finals going on all around the region. Up at Donald, it is Sea Lake 5-3-33 to Birchip Watcham 3-3-21. In Maryborough, Native Yalaba 8-7-55 to Trentham 3-5-23. In half-time of the Loddon Valley Footy League, it was wrong, 5-5-35 to Pyramid Hill 2-3-15. The goal kickers in this game, Bode Stevens has 2 for the Storm. Malik Gordon has 3, Zach Charles has the other, while for the Dragons it is only single goals. They didn't register a goal in that second quarter, did the Storm, so it's still did the Dragons. It is still Wharton, Palprat and James Coughlin. Having a look at the better players, we'll start with the Strathfieldsaye Storm because they lead the game. It is Don Moran.
Yeah, it was a really strong quarter by Bode Stevens, who popped up for a goal. Look, around the centre, continually, Matt Harvey continues to get in under. I liked Riley Wilson's quarter. He managed to come into the game a lot and was quite influential. And Daniel Clossey's still going really, really well. But I'm really impressed with Caleb Bryant's job on Fergus Green. I think he's doing a fantastic job. That's it from me.
Again, the ball use going into him hasn't been that great though for Fergus Green. There's probably been a thing against Sandhurst in the last few weeks, but they're not really doing him any favours in that forward line, are they?
Yeah, well, we're talking about it off air, and it's great to get Fergus one-on-one, but I think he needs a little bit of support down there to give him a little bit of a gap when he leads up. So maybe Kobe Maxted was behind the footy then, so maybe he goes down and stands with him and gives him a two-prong lead attack. So it keeps the defenders spread a little bit and makes them make a decision to go with one particular player. So the ball entry, crucial, especially in windy days today. But both teams' ground pressure is really good. So be interesting to see. This quarter will be the decider, I think, if Strath can hang in there. But Sandhurst really need to pile them on now, and they've got every chance to do so. So it'll be an exciting quarter to watch.
And if they are to do so, Jason Stevens, who do you see that needs to have a big influence in the second half? And who are some of your better players in the first half as well?
Yeah, it's difficult with the better players, to be honest, Cam. They're not playing, from my eyes, I've watched Sandhurst a few times this year, and they're not playing the style of footy that I'm accustomed to seeing Sandhurst play. They're not moving the ball around the ground a heck of a lot. They're using straight lines. They're not sort of taking advantage of angles, and they seem to be, a few of their troops seem to be down and potentially carrying some little niggles. So to see Tardru play forward and not move through the middle, I think that's really hurting him through that middle of the ground as well. So better players at the moment. I thought, and Noah Walsh has won plenty of the footy. Probably hasn't used it as well as I've seen Noah use over the past, but he's won plenty of the footy. I actually think young Butler in the ruck's been okay. I think he's been quite good. Pelpat through the middle was okay early too, and Wharton out on the side. But I think, to answer your first question, they need to win it at the source, and they need to start playing some Sandhurst type of footy and use this ground to its full capacity, move it around a little bit, with or without the wind. I think they need to take advantage of the strengths that they have in their side, and they have got some really good runners, and they have got some really good users when they do get out and have free space. So I'd be trying to open the ground up a little bit more for them and allow them to use those attributes.
Both teams back out on the ground, just doing some run-throughs to get themselves back refreshed after half-time. And with your coach's hat on, if you're in the Strathfieldsaye rooms, Jason Stevens, what would you have been saying?
Well, I'm pretty pumped when we're in the Strath rooms, to be honest. I think everything they've wanted the team to execute, they probably have. There was only a couple of times, I think, in that quarter where they missed opportunities. They could have lowered their eyes and hit their options a little bit shorter. But generally speaking, I think they'd be really happy with the way the game's actually unfolded. I think they've got it on their terms. So this is the quarter, though. They've actually got to really lock down on this quarter. I think coming home with the win gives them an advantage, but they've got to really lock down this quarter and try and keep pressure up. They keep the pressure up. Huge chance.
Don Moran, you can be Ash Connick. What would you be saying in there?
I'd be strengthening up my midfield. I'm with Jason. I think Wilson Butler's actually been really quite serviceable. Tim Hosking has been influential around the boundaries, but at the centre bounces, I think that he's doing really well. So I'd strengthen up that midfield. You'd be, if this is your last half and Mikey Tardru has got a sore calf, I'd basically run it right now, and I'd chuck him in the guts straight up. Put Kobe Maxted and Ferg Green side by side in the square, and probably look at maybe putting Caleb Connick at centre half back. I think he's got plenty to offer as a key position player, and I would be basically going, as Jason said, all in all, forward ball and just push and keep creating relentless pressure on Strath's defence.
Well, I want to put the hat on you because last week when you made a few comments at half-time, it did translate to what actually happened out on the ground, Don Moran. So we'll see if they're listening to you today to see what happens. John Hunter, how have you seen the game this afternoon from your point of view? I believe you also got some netball scores there as well.
I have, just in the A-grade netball, Sandhurst 24, they trail Kangaroo Flat 33. Well, it's just, for the last 3 or 4 weeks, Cam, it hasn't been the Sandhurst that I've been accustomed to watching. I've had them as favourite all throughout the year, but they've only got a half of football, and I reckon they're in a bit of strife today. With Tardru with a calf, the calves, you can't just run a calf off in these conditions. They just don't seem to be having that outside run. And I think it comes down purely and simply that some coaches have done the homework on them. And that outside run and that link-up play and they're running to space, which we saw at Castlemaine. They actually carved Castlemaine up, but that was the last time we saw it, Don. So I actually think they're in a little bit of trouble here, and I'm going to go out on a limb, and I reckon the Storm might kick away here, particularly if Malik Gordon gets on the end of a couple and they get their backs up, and they will have that wind in the last turn, which seemed to have an influence for that first half in particular.
totally agree. Sandhurst's press was fantastic in the first quarter, so if they can bring that again, spread the defenders, probably Jason made the point, lowering their eyes and trying to get some catches inside 50 rather than just relying on a ground ball win and a snap around a corner or a restart. I'd like to see them. They had plenty of opportunity to lower eyes and hit up a catch inside 50, then to get a set shot. So they've got the power to do that, and I noticed Lockie Tardrew's gone in the gut, so you might be right, Cam.
It's come down to this. It's a half of football for one of these sides. The loser will be eliminated. The winner goes on to next week. Sandhurst 27 trail the Storm 42. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Here's Cam Power for the third term.
Hosking and Butler. Hosking won the first tap down and Matt Harvey couldn't take it. Tarju handball out Coughlin. He'll quickly wheel around onto his right. He'll send the ball inside forward 50. Nelly the target, bounce in front of him. Hallinan for the Storm will receive. He'll send it into the middle of the ground. Bouncing ball. Wilson couldn't quite trap it. Spills out the back for Charles. He's able to then tap it forward. Then he ran into some pressure and he'll be tackled in the middle of the ground. And well, we're pretty much back exactly where we started, John Hunter.
26 seconds have gone to waste. Back into the middle now. Up they go. The umpire Goodridge throws it in the air. Hosking wins the tap. Juggling ball. Clossy tries to collect. Dragons will emerge through Tardrew. He puts a wobbly ball shallow inside forward 50. Running after the footy now is Coughlin. He gets it with speed and pace. Over the top he goes to Wharton. Wharton handball to Maxted. Maxted, a little fumble, but they get out of it now. He went to Coughlin and got it back again. Now on the outer side. Good strong tackling, Blanford. And it'll be a free kick to the Storm. And they've just settled things down, and Darcy Mills got collared with the footy.
I don't mind that, though. That's actually, they're trying to create a little bit Sandhurst there with hands, so that's a positive sign, I think, to start the quarter.
Yeah, they looked like they held their width too, didn't they? When they had the ball on the ground, they tried to find someone on the outside. So, yeah, very positive.
Plenty of Storm support on the poolside wing. Blanford sends the high kick down the line. It carries over the back. Wilson Butler will take the intercept mark for Sandhurst. Done a very good job. The reserves ruckman this year, Wilson Butler, just the one senior game prior to today, but he has taken his opportunity and he's doing so. Short pass to Cooper Smith. Mark not paid, tackled straight away by Charles. Not sure why that mark wasn't paid. It looked like it might have gone 15 metres to me, but umpire pretty hot on that one, you reckon, Johnny?
Yeah, it was won't buy a real set off you, Cam, as the umpire throws it up. Up they'll go in the ruck. Coughlin getting his hands on the footy as well. Emerging there was Clossy with Harvey. Put it towards the boundary line. Over it goes. And on true centre wing, swimming pool side. Ball in, 27 playing 42. The Storm lead. This third term sponsored by Central Kitchens in Bendigo. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Throw in. Hosking one up rather unopposed and then tapped it straight back towards the boundary. So we'll do it all again. The peak boundary throw in. The ball was lived on this poolside wing this afternoon. Pretty sizable crowd in here at the QEO as well. The sun is poking out, but it is still quite blustery. Will be thrown in. The boundary umpires have really earned their money this final series. That's all I'm going to say. As the ball's thrown in, carries the back again. Coughlin handball out. Kick by Butler, which was smothered. Trying to run through the footy, but it will be held up by Matt Harvey for the Storm. Ball up again. Hosking again, unopposed, knocked it down. Handball backwards to Walsh. Walsh to Tarju. Tarju is straddling the boundary line, but he didn't straddle it well enough and he's kicked it out of bounds on the full. Right on the defensive arc of 50, the Storm will bring the ball back into play. It looks like Ben Lester.
It is, in fact, Ben Lester. Plays on. Kicks it long. Hallinan's the target. Got his hands on the ball. Didn't quite hold it for long enough, and it goes over the boundary line. And we'll have a ball in. Cross half forward, Sandhurst in attack. They trail 27 to 42. 3.5 gone. Third term, the premiership quarter in this preliminary final. It's all over for the loser this afternoon. They will be eliminated after a long season 2024. Ground level. Tardrew asking for a free kick, saying he was held without the footy. Umpire Goodridge says, no, I'm going to ball it up. Haven't moved much at all and we'll have a ball up. 27 playing 42, Storm lead.
A few of the Gisborne boys wandering past the commentary box there too with some nice warm hot jam donuts. Looks like they're enjoying the contest.
I think they would have earned them. They trained at 7:30 this morning in Gisborne before coming down to watch the under-18, so it would have been rather chilly down there. As It was kicked forward for the Storm. Ratcliffe will be taken in a strong tackle by the opposing 20 in Isaac Ruff. So 20 on 20. So they say 20-20 vision, I reckon there, Johnny.
Is that an attempt at... When you have an attempt at humour, you get this smirk on your face. You'll say something funny one of these days. It's forward of centre. Leave the funny stuff to the funny people, as someone once said, Cam. Back into the middle it is. It'll be a ball up. Hosking against Butler. Another stoppage. You can have a go now. 42 playing 27. 5 minutes gone third term. And they are wasting the wind here if you kick into the Barnard Street end, which Sandhurst are.
It was just playing into Strath's hands, isn't it, John? It's just stop after stop and restart.
While you were talking, we've got another ball up as Hosking wins the ruck. He's starting to get on top in this quarter, I reckon, Hosking. Harvey tried to knock it forward, kick partially smothered it, spills out to Noah Walsh, who was being held for a little bit too long. So Walsh receives the free kick for Sandhurst. He then's forced to play on. He tried to step around Mulqueen. He had to handball off to McLean. It probably wasn't what he wanted to do, but it was a good backup option. It worked forward for Sandhurst, though. Going one way and the other. It now spills out towards Maxted. Maxted, who's 50 from home. His quick kick was smothered by Ben Lester, who lets him know about it as well. It is Benny Lester. And we'll have a boundary throw in right on the paint of 50 again, as we did probably about 2 minutes ago.
So time wasting is the go for the Storm. Barnard Street is the end to kick goals at this afternoon. And you could see when that umpire balled it in then, it just went to the advantage. As Tardru got on the end of a handball, put it to Connick. Connick, who's been quiet, now with the Storm, mopping up through Chambers. He's been a pretty good addition to the Storm this year as a long ball comes out with Gill being the target. And it goes over the boundary line and broadcast side. It will be in the long shadows. We'll have a ball in.
Throw in. Hosking won the tap down again. Spills to ground level. Matt Harvey tries to emerge through for the Storm. Coughlin fired the handball backwards. Straight to the contest. And we'll have another ball up. Stoppage play third quarter. 6.5 minutes gone. 27 playing 42.
Tightening up in the A-grade netball. Sandhurst 37, Trail Kangaroo Flat 43. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Again, no one's able to emerge with the footy at all. Letting it go. Eventually it spills out to Noah Walsh. Now there's a whistle. And what's happened here?
Yeah, I think it's a free kick to Jimmy Coughlin, I think, for a rough tackle.
Might have been, but why did he wait 10 seconds?
The players stopped. The players stopped. And then he blew his whistle.
So Coughlin receives the free kick. And now another whistle. He'll then send the high ball inside forward 50. Needs a fly. Green. Spills to ground. Hallinan paddles it forward. Across half back Gordon. Back to Hallinan, who's got some space. He runs out and then sends it down the poolside wing in the direction of Carson James. Couldn't quite find him. Sandhurst will battle hard and will force another stoppage on that far wing. How many stoppages are we up to this quarter? Wish I had $1 for every stoppage we've had in this first 7.5 minutes.
It's interesting down here, Cam. The Sandhurst bench are holding up a sign that I assume is a green Dragon sign, which would mean go, but they've wasted about 7 minutes of this quarter where they probably should have been going. And now they've got to go really fast.
Looks like a red sign to me, Jace.
You're watching the back of the sign, Cam. The front of the sign will be green.
You're doing well to be able to see too.
I would have thought the signal would have been go right from the word go of this third term as Carraher puts it inside forward 50 now for Sandhurst, but it will be another stoppage at 50. And Don, crucial minutes ticking away for the advantage.
Yeah, totally. And the entry into Fergus, Ernst just did it easy. It was just a bit high, and he managed to get a good fist on it.
Hosking, Radcliffe, Clossy. Names around the footy. Clossy collects, goes, gives it to a teammate, and it's over the line. Might be Wilson getting involved as well. Good strong tackle. And inside forward 50 for the Dragons.
Just with that sign, how long do you hold it up for?
I don't reckon if I was playing footy I'd ever bother looking over. You don't want to look at the coach in case you get told to get off. As the ball's inside forward 50. That's good logic, isn't it, coaches in the background? Let's see what they can do here. Wilkinson, Dragons, inside forward 50. Kicks to a pack of players. 40 out from goal. It's going to result in a stoppage, I reckon. And playing right into the Storm's hand, we'll have another ball up.
I'm just shaking my head here in the box. Sandhurst needs to neutralise the numbers. They need to even up the ball forward of the footy. They can't allow Strath to have that loose player back right in the hot spot. They've just got to even it up.
A lot of footies around this one. It reminds me of the last quarter the Storm played last week where they just strangled Golden Square. And Golden Square had all the momentum and they couldn't break them. Doing similar things today. Knocked down. Little soccer ball out of there. Clossy handballs forward out in the direction of Jackson Lay. Tracking after it. Knocked towards the boundary line. Kept in play. Spills out wide now. It's Stevens for the Storm. He'll send it up towards true centre wing position. Turnover though. Matt Harvey did really well. He won the ball when he probably shouldn't have. Then handballs out to Stevens, who might have been taken without the footy. He receives a free kick. And now let's see if the Storm can get some sort of consistent play here. And just try and find some short passes and give their defenders a bit of a break.
So, just taking up a lot of time. I'm pretty sure that the Storm are under instruction here.
Downfield free kick.
Is it 50 or down?
No, downfield free kick.
Against Liam Island.
Guy Chambers was knocked over.
Did you see what happened, Don?
In fact, it's Matt Harvey that got knocked over.
Thank you, Don. As
I did see it, but I didn't get in there, John. I didn't get in there.
Harvey locked on then, Cam.
Yeah, Matt Harvey was running forward and he just got checked.
Short pass. Just the netball's going on. Let's have a look at the score. It's 40 playing 46. They're getting excited over there. It's Kangaroo Flat lead over Sandhurst, so I'll keep you updated with that. Riley Wilson now inside forward 50. Look at that hold up in the wind. So that's what the advantage is, and it drops short. It ends up with the Dragons who'll clear it to Ureta. Ureta will run down the wing, kick it, looks there for Wright. Wright picked up the footy. He's tackled well by Clossy. Clossy free kick for the Storm.
Holding the ball was the call. So Clossy has it. Poolside wing. He'll look to go. Send a high ball up towards centre half forward. It's shallow. Didn't quite find its target. Noah Walsh handballs off to Tarju. Tarju then got it off to the runner there, who just bangs it forward. Cooper Smith. It bounces wide, but there's absolutely no one where he's kicked that to except for Shannon Murphy, who has time to have a cuppa and a biscuit. Then he'll steady and he'll send the kick down towards Jackson Lay in a good contest there with Cooper Smith, who knocked the ball towards the boundary line. I have a boundary throw in right in front of our broadcast position. 27 plays 42, 11 and a half minutes gone here in the third quarter.
Umpire throws it in. Hosking front position, taps it down the throat of Sheen. That's Caleb Sheen, and we'll have another stoppage and we'll have another ball. So it's 27 playing 42. Storm lead. We're approaching the halfway mark through this third term. And Sandhurst have got the advantage of a win, which they're just not making advantage of as we've got another stoppage. 27 playing 42. Up they'll go in the ruck. Ball spills towards the boundary line. And more time wasting, playing right into the hands of the Storm. We'll have a ball in. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. This quarter is sponsored by Central Kitchens in Bendigo.
So Butler's got to go in the ruck again, but again Hosking wins it down to Clossy. Just didn't quite sit for him. Bit of a head clash there. In fact, that might even be a hand injury for the Storm. It looks like Stagg off the ball. Collided with Ureta. Ball's gone further forward for Sandhurst, but intercept mark to Jones. And real stinger for Stagg off the ball there, I reckon. So
just a cut of finger, I reckon.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's...
Flick it back in, Cam. You'll be right.
So Jones will then send the high kick down the line. Big pack will fly. Hosking knocks it down. Walsh in there for Sandhurst. Somehow found some space, sent it out wide.
It's below the knees for a tunnel.
So Nally was on top of the ball, but he had taken out the legs of Strathfieldsaye's player. Oh, what was Paul Pratt doing there? Free kick to the Storm. They'll send it up towards centre half forward. Jackson Lay will have to come in from the side. Couldn't take it. Joel Wharton kept it alive, punted it forward. Got a good bounce though for Fergus Green. Then he just couldn't quite trap it. Shannon Murphy's in there. Riley Wilson's in there. He had his head ripped off by Pal Pratt. Umpire across his arms. Says, "I'll ball it up 70 metres out from goal." 13 and a half gone in the third quarter. It's still a 15-point lead to the Strathfieldsaye Storm.
Umpire ball it up. Hosking against Butler. Ball comes into the middle. Storm will look to launch here. It's a poor handball. Contest form emerging with the footy there will be Sheen. Sheen will go inside forward 50. Stevens is the target. It's a 2-on-2 ball. Good strong tackling in the forward zone by the Storm. Can they lock it in? Dragons emerging. Hood getting involved. Still in dispute. Carraher handballs it wide. Pressure is momentarily relieved. Just beyond 50 now. Hallinan on the end of a handball. Handballs forward. Can they get it back inside forward 50 and get one against the flow? They can't. As the ball goes over the boundary line, ball in, 27 playing 42, 14-minute mark of the third.
Yeah, Sandhurst just really still can't get it outside of the stoppage, can they? They can't break it open out to the back of the stoppage, so we're looking for the ruckman just to sort of try and open it up here a little bit. As dangerous as that sounds, you want to sort of tap it over the back.
So throw in, Hosking again wins the hit down, spills out. Coming away, Gill. Been a little bit quieter for his lofty standards. He'll wheel one on the right, he'll send it inside forward 50, and it's landed on the chest of Jackson Lay, who's going to chip the short pass to Riley Wilson, who's unopposed under the scoreboard. He rolls in, does Riley Wilson, and he kicks a point. Tough angle to roll straight into an open goal, but a minor score. I like the intention though. 6-7-43. It's now a 16-point margin. Sandhurst 3-9-27.
I would have liked him to step across the front of the goal and maybe go around the corner with that one. And old footy, drop punt attempt for a miss.
Three plays in from plays on full-back, goes to Wilkinson at half-back. Wilkinson spreads it wide to the outer side wing. Building something here now, Dragons. Through Jake McLean. Long ball, inside forward 50. But it was a poor kick. He's kicked it straight to Paddy Blanford of the Storm. And they're just mounting a real challenge at winning this game here, the Storm, if they can keep on this path. It's a poor kick, it goes to the outer side. As we have a look at the netball, you can hear it in the background. Kangaroo Flat 51 leads Sandhurst 45 in the A-grade preliminary final.
Yeah, 3 kicks landed inside 50. John, I'm with you there, and for no result, defender to mark the ball.
Thrown in. Hosking against Stagg in the ruck. Interesting there, but it falls forward for the Dragons. Cooper Smith will wheel around with it. He'll send it inside forward 50 and he'll kick a goal. With the run, Cooper Smith has kicked the goal for Sandhurst. And a big goal, probably against the run of things here at the QEO. And a much needed goal for the Dragons. They now move their score along to 4-9-33. It's 10 points the difference. The Storm 6-7-43. 16.5 gone in the third quarter. Score sponsor, Parsons Towings, Castlemaine, where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
We all know momentum is a big part of footy, so from a Sandhurst perspective, I think they need to hope now that they get a heck of a lot of momentum from that goal and they start to pour on the scoreboard, because right at the moment this ball game's in Strathfieldsaye's hands.
2-goal turnaround with Riley Wilson. He could have really put the pressure on by slamming that home for the Storm only moments ago, but didn't. Big punch there by Lester of the Storm. Have they got a chance here? Over the top to Mel Quinney. Will he run onto the footy? Noah Walsh tackles him well. He's given support as well. And by Lockie Hood. And in fact, it might be Noah Walsh. And 49 metres out. Directly in front. Storm against a pretty strong wind here to the city end. Clossy emerges. Gives it to Wilson. Wilson will put it to a dangerous position. Big punch from behind. Oh, they're running into an open goal. Oh, missed it. Matt Harvey, and that is what the wind is playing havoc down there. He should have kicked a goal, Don.
Yeah, once again, come centre of the ground and snap around the corner. He had plenty of time.
Free just goes with an interesting looking kick straight down the middle of the ground. It works out okay though for Walsh. Walsh handball forward to McLean. McLean then tried to go forward, but standing in the way was the Storm captain Ratcliffe. Shunnels out the handball in the direction of Murphy. Murphy off to Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey chips and finds Gill. Gill's 80 out from home for the Storm. He'll slow it up before he wheels around on his right. Charles is the target down there. Big pack will fly, and the mark has been taken down there for Strathfieldsaye by Malik Gordon. We haven't sighted him since the first quarter where he kicked 3 goals, but he's just taken a big mark inside forward 50 underneath the scoreboard, 10 metres in from the boundary.
Tightened up in the A-grade netball. We'll keep an eye on that. 47 playing 51 Sandhurst trail now, so really tightening up.
I think it might be finished. I think the app might not be refreshing. I have a feeling it's finished, and there's a crowd dispersing from the netball as we speak.
I was just looking at that, wondering where all the crowd was going there. So
I have my fingers crossed in my pocket that results a green and white way.
Malik Gordon for a big goal for Strathfieldsaye to put the lead out to 17 points for his 4th goal of the day. He does not miss it, straight over the goal umpire's hat. He's got 4, and the Storm lead it by 17 points. They are 7 goals on the board now, Strathfieldsaye. They're 50 to Sandhurst 33. Score sponsor is Bendigo City Framers. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
That's a great finish against the wind, isn't it? That's that's a that's a quality finish from a guy that's clearly got a sore foot or ankle. That's a miraculous finish, that one.
And the thing that you hate, that tall blokes don't get any shorter, and he actually just stood under that. He didn't really jump at it, he just stood under it and timed it the best.
And the A-grade netball is over. It's just refreshed then. Kangaroo Flats 46 have defeated Sandhurst 39. So Gisborne and Kangaroo Flat next week in the A-grade grand final. As back in this game here, this one's got a lot to play out with a 17-point margin. Sandhurst have possession through Walsh, defensive side of the centre circle. He'll go long now. Good, strong contested mark by Tardrew. He was 3 deep in the pack. Too far out from home. Well, if he's got this wind, he might decide to go for it. He doesn't. He goes backwards, opens up the angles, but there's no way Tallanelli can kick that. And he's gone back to whence it came. So ringer roses, and I'm not sure if I like it. It goes to Ureta.
Yeah, no, it's, that's not the way to open up a spot in the forward line, but Strathfieldsaye's got numbers back and they've been able to do it all day. Credit to them for being able to do it.
Ureta now, short pass, and he hits Paul Pratt.
That's better.
That is better, but it's a pretty tight angle. He's 10 metres in from the boundary line. He looks to come in board. That was play on. The umpire didn't agree, but he's in front of the swimming pool change rooms. Probably 10 metres in from the boundary line, so tight angle. Puts the ball on the ground, so he's going to have a fair look at it now.
At least we've got a close game here because it's not close at all in the MCDFNL. It is Natty Bielaba, 16 goals, 10, leading Trentham, 5 goals, 8 at three-quarter time.
Paul Pratt to the goal line. Storm need to kill it, and they do for a minor score. 34, playing 50, 16-point margin. Sandhurst trail, 21 minutes gone. Third term, local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Yeah, it's better that they're trying to hit up and lower those eyes and try and get a catch to get a set shot. I think there was a better entry, and I know they chipped around at the top of the 50, but it's probably a better option than just bombing it in and hoping the best.
Cooper Jones runs his 15 metres and sends a high kick down the pool side wing. Ball goes out of bounds. Off hands for a boundary throw in. 80 out from goal. In front of the Kangaroo Flat tent over there. And there's a very happy Kangaroo Flat crew under that one as they've just won the A-grade netball. As mentioned before, throw in. While Quinny tries to get it for the Storm, it bounces into the hands of Free, who was tackled straight away, and we'll have another ball up.
So, could be an 8 or 9 minutes left in this quarter. The quarters have been going a long time. There's been a lot of stoppages, so the Dragons need 1 or 2 more on the board, you'd think, to take into this final term, because the Storm will have a pretty strong wind in the final term as it spills to the outer side. Getting his hands on the footy is Behrens. Handball over the top, which is ineffective. It'll be a turnover. In fact, it was a good tackle. The tackle was by Charles of the Storm. So, looking good here, Charles with the footy. He's been providing a little bit of a target, albeit Alec Gordon's been good for the Storm this afternoon. Charles now, long down the line. They'll set themselves. Stevens is at the back of the pack. Tried to hit it at pace and couldn't. Stoppage forms, and 70 out from goals. Storm in attack will have a ball up.
That breeze looks even stronger now when you look at that trio.
Oh yeah, boy oh boy it does.
Throw in. Straight back to ground for another ball up. So stoppages here at the QEO. Have another ball up again. Leicester tried to win the tap down. Bossy tried to emerge through. And, well, you can throw a blanket over most of these players on the ground at the moment. You probably hit most of them because it is just players all around this footy. I'll have a third go. All advantage the Storm. They somehow slap it inside forward 50. Darcy Mills intercepts and then just clears the kick out of there for Sandhurst. It'll go down the line. Free kick will go to Maxted, who was being held for the Dragons. He'll then come corridor for Walsh. Walsh will mark. He can steady. Wilkinson goes past him. He decides to go with a shorter pass inside forward 50. Good hit and a hard leading Lockie Wright has marked it 50 metres out directly in front of goal. But it'll take a good effort. The accuracy will be the big factor here. So Lockie Wright, 50 metres out directly in front. This just has to go through. You get that feeling for Sandhurst to get him back within 10 points. He takes his time. On the right. He sends it goalwards. It's going to swing left and off hands. Doesn't quite go through for a minor score. Still alive at the top of the goal square there. And we'll have a ball up as Nick Stagg in front of us looks to have a bit of a claret from his face as well, Jace.
Yeah, from the bridge of the nose, I think. It's actually from the bridge of the nose and from inside the nose, so he's actually had a whack in the face.
Right at the teeth of goal here for the Storm, Barnard Street end. Another stoppage.
Three-quarter time score in the North Central Grand Final. Sea Lake Mandaly 7-3-45 to Birchip Watcham 4-7-31.
Almost 25 minutes in this third term of tick by. Deep in the forward zone now for the Dragons. Looking to get another one on the board with the win to the Barnard Street end. Tardrew can't find a path. We'll have another stoppage.
We haven't mentioned Caleb Burst's name a heck of a lot on the call today, but he's been fantastic down there on Fergus Green, just annoying him all day long.
Umpire will throw it up. A lot of players around the footy. Another stoppage, which is suiting the Storm just fine.
It is, John, and we just get repeat stoppage after repeat stoppage, and it just keeps starting and stopping, just if you're not sure.
Tardrew handball forward, cleared out of there from the Storm. Carraher tried to go through without the footy. James Pickett was tackled straight away. Had to be holding the ball, and it will be. So Isaac Ruff will receive the free. Ruff runs away, so it's going to be a free kick to Carraher. You can hear what the crowd thought of that one in the background. They were a little bit delayed getting the ball back to Carraher. He's 55 from home. He'll wheel it into the hot spot. Needs a fly and gets one! And Fergus Green marks it 40 metres out, directly in front. The kick was weighted to perfection for Fergus to lead up. And, well, you can't blame Caleb Burns for not getting to that one. It was just a great kick, Jason Stevens.
Yeah, perfect kick of the footy. He's always been a good kick, Carrots. It's no exception. This one needs to go through.
So 40 out, directly in front. In he comes Fergus Green. And he puts it to the left, as we have seen so many times today. Still goalless today, 2 behinds now for Fergus. And the moment for him just not quite coming through. 4-11-35, playing Strathfieldsaye 7-8-50. Three-quarter time in the Loddon Valley Footy League Grand Final. It is Morong 5-8-38 to Pyramid Hill 3-6-24.
Yeah, football's all about moments, isn't it? And that was a great moment, great kick in, great mark, especially amongst 4 defenders. And just can't quite take their chances, can they?
Blandford plays on from fullback for the Storm. Sends it out of side, swimming pool side. Big punch towards the boundary line by Hosking. A big left-hander and puts it over, and we'll have another ball in. It's seconds and the minutes keep ticking by. Ticking over, suiting the Storm because they'll have the win to the Barnard Street in this final term that's just coming up shortly. It's a late start. It's nearly 4:45 here, and we've still got 1 quarter of football to go due to the under-16 grand final earlier today where Sandhurst were victorious. Winning the footy now was Stevens of the Storm. Puts it down the line. Good strong mark. It's with the Storm. It's Harvey. Contested in his front of his eyes. Swimming pool side. Hard up against the line. Twirls the footy between his fingers and then kicks it long. Puts it up. Geez, it holds up in the wind. It goes shallow inside forward 50. Riley Wilson got his hands on the football, couldn't win it. Little give. It was a shot from goal. Now might be from Stevens, who goes goalwards. Tracking the footy be Nally. Not sure if I liked it going there, but they're going to get away with it. They obviously had the numbers. They looked to bring it down the outer side. It went to Ireland to Hood. Hood goes beyond 50 and puts it out of bounds for a ball in.
It's just defensive, isn't it? And there was an open player there, and Tanner found him in the goal square. But it's just defensive to go back the same side that the balls come in from. It's generally a golden rule to come out the opposite side that it's come in.
But on that point, Jason, if he went there because that was his release, maybe then Liam Island hold up and go back to him.
Correct. Yeah.
So numbers shift and change that lane.
Coughlin got it, handball forward, it spills out. They're hard up against the boundary line, which it goes over in the centre wing. Sandhurst have already got the reserves and the under-18s. They both won through last weekend of the grand final. But earlier today, Golden Square went down to Gisborne by 2 points in the under-18s. And in the reserves, it was a comfortable win for Gisborne over the Storm. So Gisborne and Sandhurst are doing battle next weekend in the under-18s and reserves. Gisborne awaiting the winner of this one here. Will it be Sandhurst or Strathfieldsaye? It's looking like it might be the Storm at this moment in time.
It'll be another ball in. Hard up against the boundary line, and I'm sure that the Storm, under instruction, are doing this very nicely done. Number of possessions hard up against the line, and it's going to be another stoppage.
It's exactly what they did last week. They just strangled Golden Square around the ball.
Pye throws it in.
Periods of time.
Hosking taps it to his feet. Stevens puts it towards Gill, who was, guess where, right up against the boundary line, and they did it again, Jace.
Well, it's working perfectly, isn't it? It's they've got the opportunity too, just to kill the time. That's the thing that's surprising, that Sandhurst hasn't been able to move the ball outside of these stoppages.
Throw in, centre wing, pull side, 29 and a half gone in the third quarter. No one able to really gain clean possession. Walsh went through, lost it. Sent forward for the Storm. It'll bounce out the back. Wilkinson should be back there first. He does the shepherding to allow Ruff to grab it. Ruff to Nelly. Got it back to Ruff. He emerges with it. Short pass down the line, and it is just punched over the boundary line by big Tim Hosking, who is having a beautiful game today for the Strathfieldsaye Storm. Will ball in again. True centre wing position on the pool side.
That was nearly a volleyball spike. He hit that hard.
Umpire will throw it in. Let's see how many more stoppages we can get before the end of this quarter. Storm are playing this game like a game of chess. It's a hurried kick out of the pack now. It'll go to the advantage of the Dragons. Joel Wharton grabs the footy, but he's tackled hard and strong, brought to the ground. And another stoppage. Outer side wing. Swimming pool side. 15-point margin. Storm have basically been in control all day. Are they marching towards an unlikely grand final appearance? Smith emerges with it now for the Dragons. Long and high. Tardru's got two on him. Good defensive punch. Blandford puts it 3 roads back, and we'll have another ball in. 30 around from goal. Sandhurst in attack, 15-point margin. Sandhurst trail. 31 minutes gone, third term.
Well, A-grade netball results coming in from around in the grand finals as well. Mediamo defeated Pyramid Hill 48-42. And in the MCDFNL, Avoca win another netball grand final, defeating Bendigo+Semi 38. So it'll be thrown in inside, forward 50. The boundary umpire's thrown it in, and he's almost smothered his own throw in there by the looks, Jason. He'll have to do it again.
That win creating havoc for players and for umpires alike.
Yeah, they've certainly earned their money this final series, have the young boundary umpires. Throw in, Maxted's in the ruck for the Storm, for the Sandhurst Dragons. Malik Gordon's also gone down behind the ball. His kick was smothered. Clossy, Tarju knocked it forward. They're just battling against the boundary line. Joel Wart will go in there and lay the tackle. Umpire crosses his arms and says, I'll have another go. Right hand forward pocket. South Bendigo change room side of the ground.
There's not a player behind the half-back flank or half-forward flank for Sandhurst.
I'm not even going to call this, because you know what's happened, don't you? It's another stoppage. And I'll tell you what, Don, it'll be interesting to see in the last term how Sandhurst respond. Do they take a leaf out of the book of the Storm and really bottle it up? And there's just that many players around this footy, I don't know what's going on. It's going to be another stoppage.
So there's every player bar one inside the forward 50. That one player is Liam Island, who's 10 metres off the 50.
Let me see what we can do here. Riley Wilson, you're near the footy. Go near it. Carraher as well. A lot of players. It's all tied up. Hood might have got one too high. Come on, umpire, give us nothing. And he won't. As it is the three-quarter time siren. 4:11:35 the Dragons. The Storm 7:8:50.
Yes, you'd be very happy at the moment if you're Strathfieldsaye, but there's one more quarter to go here at the QEO. One more quarter to find out who will take on the Gisborne Bulldogs in the grand final next weekend. Other grand finals that are going on, it's three-quarter time. Morong 5:8:38, Pyramid Hill 3:6:24, and Natty Bialaba 16:10:106, leading Trentham 6:8:44. And it is three-quarter time in the North Central as well. Sea Lake 7:3:45 to Birchip Watcham 4:7:31. But here at the QEO, a 15-point margin is to be overcome for the Sandhurst Dragons if they are to book their spot in the grand final, or will they be out in straight sets in season 2024? The final quarter to come here from the QEO, where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Noah Walsh couldn't quite claim it. Spills off hands. Matty Merritt picks it up for the Dogs. Shrugs off the tackle. Merritt then steadies. He goes goalwards. Matt Merritt kicks the first goal of the day for Gisborne. Good crowd in. Sexton gets the first run, but he's knocked it straight to Benaki. Benaki sharks it and goals. Gisborne have come to play at the QEO. Just think if Gisborne kick one here, from this contest, it'll be well on their way. Dennehy stays out of the ruck. He rolls through the middle, and Zach Dennehy. Yeah, Sandhurst, they finish on top of the ladder, but they're going to be forced to do it the hard way in 2024. The Gisborne Bulldogs book slot 1 in the 2024 Big Dance, which will be played here at the QEO. High ball inside forward 50 in the Gordon direction. Just didn't quite carry. Ball spills off hands. Strosh back there for Golden Square. Couldn't take it. Wilson front and centre. Roves the ball. And Wilson snaps around his body. Pye heaves the ball a long way back inside. Off hands. Clossy goes through for Storm. Picked it up. He shouldered some candy. Dan Clossy. And he goes goalwards. Daniel Clossy kicks the Storm second.
Umpire didn't muck around. He threw it up in the air. 20 metres out from goal. Hurriedly kicked out of the pack. It come from Golden Square through Toma. It's the final quarter. He hops, he steps, he's a bit nervous, and he has kicked a goal!
It'll come back inside though for the Dogs. It's spilled to Rayner. Rayner handballs to Toma. This might make him excited. Toma snaps the goal. He's kicked it, but the siren sounds. Toma gave a big celebration, and then he dropped because he was celebrating the goal, but it will not matter. And the final quarter is about to get underway here at the QEO, and we have got a very good game of footy in progress. Plenty of Gisborne Bulldogs supporters here in attendance to see who will be facing them next week in the grand final. Will it be the top of the table finishing Sandhurst, or can the Strathfieldsaye Storm cause the upset? They lead it by 15 points, 7-8-50. Sandhurst 4-11-35. A huge crowd in attendance here at the QEO for prelim final day. Earlier in the under-18s, Golden Square went down to Gisborne, 6-5-41 to Golden Square, 4-15-39. And in the reserves, it was Gisborne 8-9-57 to the Storm, 2-3-15. So the under-18s and reserves grand final will both be contested between Gisborne and Sandhurst. But will Sandhurst make it there for the senior grand final, or will Strathfieldsaye Storm make it? It's a 15-point lead to the Storm, and it is all to play for in this final quarter. The goals on the day, Malik Gordon 4, Bode Stevens 2, singles to Zach Charles. While for Sandhurst, all singles. They've only managed one goal since quarter time. Joel Wharton, Zach Palpra, Cooper Smith and James Coughlin are the goal scorers. Looking at the better players for the Strathfieldsaye Storm this afternoon is Don Moran.
Thanks, Cam. Still a solid performance by Daniel Clossy inside. Inside work of Clossy and Harvey has been absolutely fantastic. The amount of stop-starts that we saw there. He's also been supported really strongly by. I thought the quarter of Tim Hosking was sensational. He managed to continue to just put that ball down at the feet and then have those midfielders cracking in and just stoppage after stoppage. So certainly fell into the hands of their plan for the quarter. But yeah, that'll be probably where I'm at. Still really solid from Caleb Ernst, keeping Fergus Green quiet.
And a very difficult day from a Sandhurst perspective to find a player that's actually contributed in all 3 quarters to date. So I think they've got a lot to lift in this last quarter. They need to lift a lot in this last quarter to come away with a victory here. They just need to throw caution to the wind for lack of a bad punt, to throw out a bad punt. They need to throw caution to the wind and just really attack this quarter, not get stuck in a defensive contest. They really need to open the ground up and try and run and carry the football a little bit, which we haven't seen them been able to do all day.
So the final term in what will be either the end for the Strathfieldsaye or Sandhurst. Gisborne awaits the winner in the big dance. To get the final quarter here on Bendigo's Fresh FM, here's John Hunter.
Up they go in the ruck. It'll be Hosking who wins the tap. Tardru got a secondary punch and he put it into the path of Maxted. Maxted goes inside forward 50 shallow, but it was a poor kick and it ended up there with Sheen. Sheen of the Storm kicked it to half forward and they're playing kick to kick now with Carraher on the end of it, and he'll send it in the direction of the big ruckman Butler.
Butler couldn't mark it, but he tapped it down nicely to the advantage of the runner. They'll send it up towards centre half forward. Green didn't quite get the bounce. It's taken away for the Storm. It's got to Gill. Gill's kicked down the line. Lockie Hood marks for Sandhurst. He'll look to send it quickly back inside forward 50. Short pass. Stagg just takes a diving mark. Sheehan threw everything at him to try and stop it. Right in front of us here. Stagg's got it. 55 from goal. Sheehan's approached a couple of metres forward there. So Stagg quickly on the right. He then fools everyone with a short pass looking for Tarju. Touch before it got to him. It comes to Wharton. Wharton throws it on the boot. It'll go high. Who sits underneath it? Hallinan for the Storm does. He couldn't mark it. Ernst handballed out, but straight to Tarju. Tarju fends off Harvey. Handballs into the middle. Couldn't quite get it there, Coughlin. Tarju then kept it shoveling forward. It comes out to Mills. Darcy Mills goes goalwards. Didn't make any connection at all with it towards the goal. And it bounces out of bounds for a boundary throw in the right-hand forward pocket of the QEO. And you get the feeling it's going to spend a lot of time this quarter inside this forward line, John Hunter.
I like the work of Lockie Tardru then. Did you see that? That was just contest after contest. Hunt the ball after every opportunity he had.
Ball in. Tap to the feet. It'll be with the Storm, and Gill puts it over the line defensively. And we'll have another ball in. 20 around from goal that Sandhurst are attacking. The city end, it's a pretty strong wind they're kicking into. Storm have led this game. If not for the majority of it, I'll go he. I can't recall Sandhurst being in front. If they were, it was very early days. Hosking taps it to his feet. Pack forms. Emerging was Coughlin of the Dragons. Gives it to Stagg, who put it on the left, who didn't go the required distance. Tardru was on the end of it. On the outside of the boot, snuck it through for a goal. Here they come, the Dragons. Score sponsor Jason Westcott Builder. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. That takes Sandhurst to 5:11:41. The Storm 7:8:50. 2.5 minutes gone. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Don called it earlier about the efforts of Lockie Tardru, a couple of efforts just to get stoppage after stoppage and attack that ball. That was him pure grunt. He's the guy that's going to try and lift his team over the line here, and let's see if they jump on his back and come with him.
He kicks the goal and Ellie waltzes straight back into the middle. Does Lockie Tardru. Ball up. Knock forward Hosking. Stagg's been busy in this quarter. Handball further forward. Handball, Maxted, got it off to Walsh. Walsh with a short pass in and charging out, taking the mark on his chest will be Wright. Lockie Wright. He's 45 metres out from goal. He's going to chip it short into the pocket, and Noah Walsh has been unmarked in the right-hand forward pocket, and a chance to kick the goal from 25 to 30 metres out. Almost directly in front here, on the angle. Not too much to deal with Jason Stevens, a player of Noah Walsh's calibre.
Yeah, it'll be swirly up there, but it's certainly a player of his calibre is capable of kicking his goal.
So this will bring it back to a 3-point margin. Walsh on the right. He starts it right, lets the breeze do the work, And it is game on at the QEO. 3-point ball game. Noah Walsh puts through the goal. And Sandhurst have got all the momentum in this final quarter. 6:11:47, 3.5 gone. The Storm 7-8-50. Score sponsor, Don Smallgoods is Don is good.
And both those forward entries of the Sandhurst that we know, they just create some space, get some ball on the outside and hit a leading forward. Really, really impressive start to the last quarter.
Strath can't go completely defensive here either. They need to attack a bit as well.
Back in the middle, Hosking up against Butler for the Dragons. Sandhurst will emerge. Soccer ball from Butler to half forward. James Coughlin picks it up. He attacked the footy hard and he attacked the tackling man. And, it's going the other way. I heard you in the background there, Don. Oh,
that was me, the audible groan that time. He was paid holding the ball. I thought he was the one trying to attack and make the play, so pretty stiff.
Not to give away 50 as well, as he threw it to ground instead of giving it to Dan Cossey. But Cossey will work it up towards centre half forward. Intercept mark for the Dragons. They'll clear the kick out of there. Comes from Cooper Smith. It goes down the far wing and it'll be out of bounds for a boundary throw in. True centre wing position, pool side. It is the Storm by 3 points, but we've got a premier in the MCDFNL. Full-time score, Natty Bialaba. 20 goals 10, defeated Trentham 7 goals 9.
Favourites all year, Natty Bialaba. Back here at the QEO. We've still got to work out who's playing next week. Will it be the Storm or Sandhurst, as it's a stoppage on the outer side? Sandhurst have trailed all day. They trail by 3 points. They're kicking against a strong wind, but they've started off strongly in this term, as it will be another ball in outer side. 6 minutes just about to tick over in this final term, which is brought to you by our sponsors, Rural and Outdoors in Castlemaine.
So we're on centre wing, pool side again. Hosking wins it forward. Charging through for the Dragons will be Mills. He'll just send it towards space. It goes out of bounds for a boundary throw in, and it will be thrown in on the far wing, Don Moran.
Yeah, well, if it stays out there like we saw last quarter, it's going to sit into Sandhurst's hand. If they can sneak one against the wind, they're big chance. 3 points down at the moment.
70 out from goal, knocked forward, and Wilson had hands on the ball when there was a kick forward, so it'll be a free kick to Riley Wilson. He'll chip a short pass, marked by Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey accelerates away. He'll send it up towards centre half forward. Good mark by Ireland in defence for the Dragons. And he will clear the kick out of defence.
It's disappointing. That's twice we've seen Sandhurst clearly mark the ball in their D50. So good for Sandhurst, not so great for Strath.
Short pass goes to Ruff. In game 100, Isaac Ruff. He'll then go even further down the poolside wing. Mark taken Stagg. Can come in board or slow things down. He chooses the latter.
Wasn't a fantastic kick by Ruffy, but you don't have to draw pitches, do you? Just hit the target.
That's it. Stagg's kick holds up in the wind, but it's going to be Connick now takes the mark. He's got Walsh running for him. He'll run at 50. Gives it to Jake McLean, who can slam it home. They hit the front, the Dragons. Boy, oh boy.
Well, there's a heartbeat. So that's great stuff for Sandhurst. But a little bit of composure there. The actual kick in was fantastic. And a free kick to Jake by the look of it. Jake McLean has now got a free kick.
It is. Scoreboard.
Hosking that hit him on the way through, I reckon.
Scoreboard sponsor, Daily Bricklaying and Construction. Sandhurst a 7-11-53 lead. The Storm 7-8-50, a 3-point margin. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
So the Storm starting to implode a little bit here. Wilson Butler receives the free kick in the middle for the contact on McLean. He'll send it up towards centre half forward. That bounces out. Coughlin, he couldn't take it. Diving in on top of it will be Charles Dole for the Storm, and will force a ball up 45 out from goal. A little bit undisciplined from the Strathfieldsaye Storm there, Donny Moran.
Yeah, for sure. Just to give him just a clear kick out of the centre after a goal. Very, very disappointing. Sandhurst are coming though.
Momentum is a big thing in modern footy. Free kick will be taken out of the ruck
like a
for
block
Ben
in the
Lester.
ruck.
So Lester has it for the Storm.
Oh, Walsh getting busy.
He sends it down the poolside wing. Free kick against Isaac Carraher. He jumped way too early and into the back of Jackson Lay, so he'll receive the free kick on true centre wing position.
Doesn't muck around. He'll send it to half forward. Comes to the back of the pack. in the path of Jones. He slipped over, but they've got the numbers. Little handball over the top. Charles getting involved. Whistle on play. Might be a ball in. He might have stepped over the line. No free kick, sorry. It will be a free kick to the Storm. It's just geez, there's things going on left, right and centre in the footy here.
I reckon it's a free kick to Sandhurst, because I reckon after the ball went out of bounds, the Storm player then kicked the ball even further forward out of bounds. So maybe a delay of game free kick.
Jake McLean has got the footy. You're right, it's the Dragons.
So Jake McLean, it's the only explanation I can come up with there is McLean will send it down the poolside wing. All happening, a free kick has been pulled again, going the way of the Dragons. Just some ill discipline creeping in for the Storm, and it's all Sandhurst at the minute. Short pass forward. Mark taking Stagg. He'll quickly play on the right. Sends it in the Walsh direction. Dole comes through and knocks it over the boundary line for a boundary throw in 55 metres out from goal. And a full-time score in the North Central Footy League Grand Final as well. Sea Lake 7-5-47 defeated Birchip Watcham 4-10-34. So the Sea Lake Nandaly Tigers win another premiership in North Central Footy.
Dragons in attack. They lead by 3 points. Stagg shovels the footy out in the direction of Ureta. Goes around the body on the left. Storm need a response now. Tardrew's been huge. Also Polpratt getting involved, but Riley Wilson will rebound off halfback into the middle. There's a player down off the ball who looks in a bad way for the Storm, as Stevens has got it. Just forward of centre now for the Storm. Inside forward 50 to the top of the square. We need a big mark for the Storm if you're on their side. Wilkinson's dragged down for the Dragons. After all that, it's a minor. As it inches closer, it's a 2-point margin. Storm trail 51 to 53. 11 minutes gone, fourth term.
All happening as well. Malik Gordon was down. He got back up and he didn't like some of the treatment he was copping there, Jason Stevens. So a little bit of spite in this game. Sandhurst short pass finds Island.
And then he put someone on the ground, Cam, and then he got him put on the ground again. So it was a bit.
I reckon he might have tried to fall over a little bit easily to try and fool the umpire, because the umpire was looking straight at him. Having none of it, Dragons will come down the grandstand side wing. Ben Lester sets himself underneath it, takes a strong mark as Lockie Wright come charging through. So Lester has it for the Storm. Centre wing grandstand side. On the right, it's a high helicopter ball inside forward 50. It's knocked out. Lockie Gill's got space to get to it. It just kept bouncing away. Ruff picked it up and he was tackled straight away by Gill, 30 metres out directly in front of goal. But up the right end of the ground, if you follow the Strathfieldsaye Storm, they trail this game by 2 points here at the QEO.
If we had the Worm on TV, they must only been in front for about 1% of this game, the Dragons, but it's at the important part of it. They'll win it now in the defensive zone. Poor kick. Straight to Murphy of the Storm. Now Shannon Murphy, he's in a position to kick this with a pretty strong wind. 45-degree angle. Barnard Street end. The wind will grab it for sure. He just needs to sit it up there. He does. It swings but won't swing enough. And tightens it to one solitary point margin. 52 playing 53. Storm trail almost midway through this final term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Those Sandhurst midfielders have started to get on top a little bit this quarter. So Noah Walsh, Nick Stagg, both those boys. Tardrew we've already highlighted. Starting to win a fair bit of the footy through the middle ground.
Yeah, it's good to see, isn't it? Especially when they're not getting their first use out of the air, that first touch, but they're mopping everything up.
Dragons bring the ball back in. They go long straight down the corridor. Ratcliffe thumps it back in for Strathfieldsaye. It bounces around. McLean for Dragons will clear it out of there. Noah Walsh will be tracking after it. It bounced okay for him though. Walsh then steps his way through trouble. Handball forward to Tardrew. Tardrew to Coughlin. Coughlin's clean. He tried to accelerate from Sheehan and he couldn't. He was tackled and he was done holding the ball. Caleb Sheehan with a big moment for the Storm. He receives the free kick centre wing pull side.
Kicks it 30 metres. Ugly ball. Turnover now. Wilkinson rebounds for the Dragons. Puts it to Wright. Wright now with possession. He's composed to one-on-one. Green versus big Caleb Ernst. It was a one-on-one that was good, but Green followed up his own footy. Gave it by hand to James Coughlin. Oh, it sits up in the wind. Bounces 30 metres out directly in front. Gill now of the Storm. Composed. Gives it to a teammate in Leicester. Leicester kicks it to Riley Wilson on half-back, and maybe they'll just... Oh, horrid kicks to Gill. Back into side defensive 50. Middle runs into it. Bad mistake, Storm. Joel Ward had a chance to slam it home. Oh my goodness, 2-point mark, the Dragons lead.
That's that defensive mindset, isn't it? So Riley Wilson could have moved the ball really forward, but he tried to take the defensive kick, missed the target, and opens the door for Sandhurst.
Geez, they just had 2 or 3 chances where we looked like they were running in an open goal. Finals footy pressure does funny things to you, Jason Stevens.
That was nearly the old saying of put your glasses down for Joel Wharton. He very rarely eats those up.
Game 200 for Joel Wharton. Wouldn't have that been a story for him to kick a big goal like that? Blandford brings the ball back into play for the Storm. He roosts it straight down the middle. Wilson sets himself at the front of the pack, tried to claim the mark. Clossy handballed it forward. It's knocked in the Leicester direction. It's taken by Mulquinny. Mulquinny inside forward 50. Good use of the body for the Storm by Cooper Jones. And he marks 40 metres out directly in front. And he will go back to put Strathfieldsaye back in front. Cooper Jones, that is a terrific grab.
It's dangerous forward of the footy, Cooper Jones. When they do swing him forward, he can take a mark and kick a goal. So usually a pretty good kick of the footy as well.
He'll kick from 45, directly in front. Big crowd in attendance for the QEO. Will Cooper Jones take his moment? He comes in on the right. In fact, he kicks it on his left, and it stays left, a minor score.
It's so weird how that swings left when it just sits in that pocket. But then it just goes the other way when they have a set shot.
1 point lead Sandhurst, 15 minutes gone, final turn, 7-12-54. The Storm 7-11-53. Score sponsor Rural Outdoors Castlemaine. Strap yourselves in for a cracking final 10 minutes.
Free now for the Dragons. Both clubs have had a chance to put a major in the last minute and they've muffed it. Let's see who responds here. Short pass, Ireland. Handball, back to Free. Dragons in possession from deep in the defensive zone now. Tries to kick it up to the wing. Hosking hands on football. Couldn't quite get it. Picked it up nicely by Dole. Ball spills to the wing. Who'll win possession here? It'll be Mills. Getting involved, Tardrew. Handball forward, Walsh. Handball now to Green, who's up the ground. Green too far, one from home. One-on-one, Joel Wharton. Blandford did well, used his body, tapped it to Chambers of the Storm, and Chambers is away.
Chambers has a bounce. Then he wheels down the poolside wing. It's a high ball. And, well, intercept mark for Sandhurst will be taken. They'll send it up towards centre-half forward. Mark taken, Pelpret. Pelpret handballs further forward. Wharton's 55 from home, hard up against the boundary, tried to hit Green, couldn't take it, spills out to Ernst. Ernst handball forward, Wilkinson turnover, Pelprat, Eureka. He steps one way, then he sends the high ball in. It's a lot of Storm players around this one, they have to kill it. Green come in from the side to knock it to ground. Hallinan there for the Storm, as is Joel Wharton. Will have a ball up 25 out, directly in front of goal for the Sandhurst Dragons. We haven't had many close finals this year, Johnny, but this one's going right down to the wire.
Boy, oh boy. We are 17 and a half minutes into the final term. 30 metres out from the Dragons' goal. We will have another stoppage. Take a deep breath, Don.
Yeah, I love the work of Matt Wilkinson. He's had 2 to 3 serious moments there, repelling that ball back into inside 50.
Hosking tapped it down the throat of Noah Walsh of the Dragons. It went up the chimney, top of the goal square defensively. Hallinan took a good mark for the Storm.
I hate to be buying real estate off that umpire.
Yeah, it's I had 15? A drone there. It certainly went 15 metres in the air.
Hallinan plays on, sends it beyond 50 now. Dragons are everywhere. Polprat getting his hands on the footy a bit in this final term. Also was Wilkinson. He was involved. They're in the area. Now it's Polprat. Drop the footy. Who's going to emerge? Nobody.
High tackle, free kick, Strathfieldsaye Storm. So just seeing who is at the bottom of that pack that'll emerge with the footy. will be young Hugh Berens for the Storm. He wastes no time, but the kick is not great. Charging through and knocking it forward, though, was Matt Harvey. Made it look half okay. Handball forward. Wilkinson's cool, calm and collected for the Sandhurst Dragons. He'll chip the short pass to Walsh. Walsh even further forward. Coughlin couldn't mark it. Lockie Gill's in there for Strath. Coughlin emerges away. He wheels around to the right. Goes looking for Joel Wharton. Good defensive punch from Blandford. It came forward to Walsh. Walsh will send it in the green direction. It spills over the back. Murphy couldn't take it. It's bouncing inside forward 50. Hit ball to Fergus Green. He beats the body to Fergus Green. And it looked like for all money it was going to come back, but it just didn't. And it stays right. 2-point margin. 55 plays 53. Green's got 3 minors on the board today. Blandford will bring the ball back in. We're about to hit red time. Score sponsor, Don Smallgoods, is Don is good.
Yeah, bring back the torp, Jay, straight down the middle.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Hey?
work.
Don't want to die wanting here.
Blandford plays on from fullback, just about to tick on to time on. Hitting the hard, pack hard was Stevens. Offering support there was Murphy. Put it on his boot to the wing. Smith picks it up for the Dragons now. They'll have another go at it. Coughlin's been huge in this quarter, as has Noah Walsh. Coughlin will spread it wide. They've got the numbers here. Connick, short pass forward. Ureta, too far out to score. He's halfway between centre wing and left half forward, and he'll slow it down.
Ureta's going to go with an even shorter pass. It's a nice kick, and it just finds its way into the hands of Noah Walsh. What a final quarter Noah Walsh has had. He's 55 out from goal. Where's Fergus Green? The kick goes in the direction of Joel Wharton. He just couldn't quite take the mark. Blandford's given away a free kick for a hold, and Joel Wharton will go back underneath the scoreboard. What do you think of that free kick, Jace? Wharton quickly plays on with a short pass, and I thought he was going to turn it over, but Zach Pelpret marks it. 5 metres maybe further forward. Not sure that one was 15 metres either. But he's underneath the scoreboard. Zach Pelpret's already got 1 today. And if he kicks this, it'll be a mighty tough ask for the Storm.
It's a difficult kick, but not beyond him. It'll be interesting to see which way the ball actually goes when he drops it here.
15 metres out, 5 metres in from the boundary. Zach Pelpret comes in. He'll kick on the right. He sets it up right. It's gone right across the face. It's almost gone out of bounds on the full. But the Storm knock it back in for a minor score, which is probably a good result because it means they will receive possession back. 56 plays 53, 21 minutes gone in the final quarter.
Blandford doesn't muck around from fullback. It's a 60-metre ball into the middle of the QEO. He's got the wind.
Free kick straight.
Free kick. What was it for? Don?
Sure.
Doesn't matter. It's a free kick. It'll go now to the Storm.
I think it was over the shoulder or a hold.
Oh, to Jones. He muffed it up. He's right to call it. Are they going to get away with it? I don't think they will. Charles muffed it, and it is a free kick to go to the Dragons.
Charles and Stevens are just not on the same wavelength at all. He handballed it to him. He wasn't expecting it.
I don't think Charles could kick the footy, that's why.
I think he hurt his leg on the way down after the contest.
So Ureta, 60 from home. Can he find an option inside forward 50? Goes inside. It'll bounce over the back. It might bounce through. Blandford somehow got a touch on the last line of defence. Somehow. I thought it was going to take one of those miracle bounces. 4-point lead to the Dragons. 22 minutes gone. Final quarter in the prelim final.
Blandford again kicks it into the middle of the QEO. They need a big mark. Can they get it? Hosking. 15-metre ball, handball, but it was ineffective. Goes to Mills of the Dragons. Fans it wide. Hits right. Right's tackled by Gill.
It's got to be gone.
Deliberate. And that was it.
Oh, Cam, here's your moment. Here's your moment, big fella.
Insufficient intent. Lockie Gill gets the ball back in. He chips it down the line to Lester. And about time, I say, here at the QEO. Lester will wheel the high ball inside forward 50. Can he get a mark? It spills to Tarju. Tarju to Stagg. Stagg to Smith. Just got it forward to Walsh, who was tackled by Riley Wilson. Umpire Goodrich crosses his arms and says we'll ball it up. 60 out from goal. Take a breath.
Gee, you love that, Cam. You'll have the Cheezels out this week when you listen to the broadcast. In the last term, up they go. Hosking puts it in the path of Harvey. Will they get a chance at it? He's going to get a free kick. And I tell you what, the wind, he's a good chance.
He's a very good chance. Gee, Sandhurst, you just hate to see it when you're like, it's just they've had all the play, all the run, and just Now there might be one against it.
It's a bit tighter than 45 degrees. The man on the mark stands at 50. But let me tell you, the wind has had the advantage all afternoon. He just needs to kick through the footy and let the wind do the rest. In the shadows of the old social rooms of the South Bendigo Footy Club. In he comes, Matt Harvey. It's long, it's high, it won't be a goal. Comes off the pack, and it's a minor score. Tightens it up to a 3-point margin, Dragons lead. 24 minutes gone, final term.
A good crowd in attendance here at the QER, and they're going berserk. Gisborne don't know what to think. Will they be playing Sandhurst? Will they be playing the Storm? Free brings it into play. Short pass to an unmanned Cooper Smith. In defence in the back pocket. He'll send it down the poolside wing. It carries the back of the pack. Matt Harvey then just pounces on it. High ball inside forward 50. Nally sits underneath it and he takes a juggling mark. A little bit nervous, but Tanner Malley marks it across half-back for Sandhurst.
Composed. Short pass. 25 metre forward. Oh, Maxted nearly muffed it. He juggled it, but he was okay. Spreads it wide to Wilkinson, who's across half-back. Swimming pool side.
They just need to keep possession here until they get over halfway, and then away they go.
Down the line to the wing. They'll set themselves. Hallinan at the front of the pack can't get it. Sandhurst hard up against the line. Gets one too high. Noah Walsh. Free kick, is it? I think it might be. And Walsh, as you said, Cam, it's been huge in this final term. He's got a free kick.
Made a massive difference to Sandhurst since he's come back in, Noah Walsh. Centre wing. Poolside, 25 and a half gone, final term. 3 points the margin. Mark taken at centre-half forward for Sandhurst.
Taju.
It is Lockie Taju. Will he take his full 30 seconds? Might be a touch too far. 60 out from goal. He's told to go. He sends it into the pocket. Maxted sits underneath it. Good strong mark by Ernst, who read it best. He comes in and takes the mark from the side for Strathfieldsaye. They might have one or two more rolls of the dice left, Johnny.
60 metre ball again into the wind.
But Matt Wilkinson, he's going okay, isn't he? Another intercept mark.
Spreads it wide, and he finds a teammate in Maxted.
Oh, it's a flop. They can't pay that.
Maxted's just been given a gift.
Oh, well.
50 metre penalty. There was a little bit of a push there, and he flopped it.
Brave decision.
Well, it'll send Maxted to the top of the goal square. Disappointing. Well, you've called a game of footy like this for the last 10 minutes. He's not quite to the top of the goal square.
So Matt Wilkinson's just come from the ground. His influence in this last quarter has been outstanding. Intercept after intercept.
This is not a lay down, this kick. Not with the wind. Kobe Maxted. What a player he is for the Dragons. He's got a chance now to seal it, you would think. Pokes at it and doesn't.
He just didn't follow through.
Some would say maybe a just result. It was a pretty soft 50 in my eyes. 4-point margin. Sandhurst still lead. 27 minutes gone, final term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Bring back the talk.
Just didn't follow through with the kick. Blandford runs his 15, sends it down the line. Sitting in front, couldn't take it. Knocked forward, Clossy. He'll wheel the kick into the middle of the ground for the Storm. They might have one or two more chances. Knocked away. Wilson Butler's kick will be cleared out of there. Good. Smith dropped the mark. I thought he was about to take it. Hits the pack. We'll have a ball up centre wing position. 58-54. Going up in the ruck, Hosking and Butler. Hosking just tries to thump it forward. It spills out wide. It's taken by Connick. He'll just send it towards centre half forward. It spills out the back. Ernst for the Storm. Handball to Murphy. Murphy labouring. Tried to knock it to Hallinan. He missed him. Ureta emerges with a footy. Ureta from 50. Sends it goalwards. Dayton Ureta got an absolute awful bounce. He's back. Joel Wharton. He was laying on the ground, John Hunter. And Joel Wharton has somehow pulled something from somewhere, I don't know. But it's a goal to the Sandhurst Dragons. They've gone ballistic. I've gone ballistic. And it's a 10-point lead to Sandhurst. He was laying on his back when he kicked the ball. Joel Wharton Happy game 200. There's a moment that'll last for him forever. 28 minutes gone in the final quarter. I've just blown everyone's eardrums out listening along at home. And it's the Sandhurst Dragons by 10 points. Score sponsor, JB Restumping.
Back into the middle. You finished, Cam, have you? That's Ratcliffe of halfback. Siren sounds. The Dragons victorious by 10 points. What a final term in this preliminary final. Sandhurst have won 8-16-64 to the Storm 7-12-54. And I'm going to give these two coaches in the background a chance to tell us what happened.
Well, I got no voice, so don't throw it at me.
Well, it takes a circus trick to win a game of footy. It doesn't matter what it takes, does it? But that was awesome from Joel Wharton. That was absolutely amazing. I thought there was nearly through one over the line, but somehow it stayed in. That wind's kept it in, and they were having a wrestle there, and it managed to land in his lap, and he's lay down was there, kicked it from laying on the grass.
Yeah, he did, and it's actually, for me, was set up in that last quarter, the way that Sandhurst actually played the last quarter, and I think Don mentioned it in the highlights, Wilkinson chopped off the ball really well as far as intercepting across half-back. But Sandhurst played the style of footy that we're accustomed to see with Sandhurst. They had forward handball, they ran at Strathfieldsaye, and they took territory by using the footy, really cleverly. Found their targets and made sure that they kept Strathfieldsaye, chasing them a little bit, defending harder. So from my end, they got it on their turn.
Yeah, well, it was definitely going to look like it was going to go the other way after the first 3 quarters. But yeah, credit to them. That's the Sandhurst footy that'll win them a grand final. So watch your tape. Look at what you did in the last quarter, even against the wind.
Yep.
They basically created space, used the width. Cooper Smith was great running through, and you saw Noah Walsh was starting to get the footy, but they managed to just, instead of getting sucked to the footy as they did today and fall into Strath's contested football, they created some width and space, and that's the footy that they can play.
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
It's easy to say it from up here, but look at the tape, look at your last quarter, and go in with that next week, and you're a big chance, Sandhurst, big chance. So use the ground that you know that's your home ground, play it the way you know, and replicate that last quarter. And who knows, it could be anyone's game next week.
Well, before a ball was even bounced in the season, many pundits did say that it would be Sandhurst and Gisborne. And that's exactly how it's played out, Jason Stevens. But geez, did the Strathfieldsaye Storm. They'd feel like they really let that one slip this afternoon. Oh, yeah, look, I think, we probably need to highlight what Strathfieldsaye's been able to put out there today, to be honest. That's an undermanned group that they've brought here to a preliminary final, and credit to them, the way they played their footy. A majority of that contest in the first quarter, I felt Sandhurst was probably on top in the first quarter. Didn't take all their opportunities, but the majority of the contest was on the Storm's terms, and they did it. Did a fantastic job with troops down. I think they'll be disappointed, but probably shouldn't be, to be honest. The way they played with what they were able to bring here today, I think they go away from the season probably pretty confident with what they've been able to put out, and be looking forward to sort of bigger things next year.
Yeah, I agree. It's now about keeping that group together and build on that. Well and truly undermanned, and put up a great 3-quarter effort, I would say, and then got run over. But yeah, absolute credit to Sandhurst. The intent from Lockie Tardrew right from that first. They had the first 3 centre clearances. Jake McLean got involved, kicked a goal. Then he was in everything. There's a bit of dust up, bit of biff, bit of stuff happening behind the play. Some free kicks, a little bit. I know Cam mentioned that there was some undesired footy from Strath that let Sandhurst back in.
Especially in the first 5 minutes of this last quarter.
Yeah. But, they got it back in their hands, and that's what wins footy, is back in your hands, hit the scoreboard, and they did that beautifully.
Well, Don Moran, that's you done for season 2024 here with us on Footy Fresh. So thank you for all your efforts across the season. And before we let you go, we probably need to ask you who wins next weekend and why.
I think it'll be Gisborne.
Well, probably how much?
I think it'll be Gisborne, but, there's some time for it'll be interesting to see what they do with their ruck players this week. So Bryce will probably be available next week. So hopefully they'll strengthen up their side. And I'm sitting on the fence, but I reckon if Sandhurst bring that last quarter football, it's going to be a great game. And but I would probably go with Gizzy being the form side in the final series.
Joel Wharton getting chaired off the ground in game 200, and what a moment he has to live with, kicking a goal whilst laying on his back to send his side to a grand final. Jason Stevens, you'll be here having a look at that game with us next weekend. So really looking forward to that battle. Thank you for all your efforts today and across the rest of the season. One game to go. You must be excited for next week.
I am, Cam. Let's hope it's not windy and the sun's out and we get a ripping day of footy here at QEO.
Has to be, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're due. We're due for one. So, let's hope for a cracking day. Gisborne will bring a big crowd as well. And I'm looking forward to it.
Well, let's wrap up the results here from